His guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for having weak hands. Where the haters at? Y'all bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got HEX, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. This is whales only. Glad you guys can make it out. I'm making some claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're gonna pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. We're obliterating everybody, literally. There is nobody else that comes close to what HEX has done. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. Yep. That's it. Yep. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. Shit, motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all's deep. Everybody. My God. Ex-Asians, bro. Everybody. Australians, man. Everybody gets me. Yo, when is it told you? Dollar told you. Everybody done told you. It's crazy. What's going on, family? Long time no speak. I hope everybody is doing well on this glorious Friday. Just want to shout out everybody that's here early. Sorry for starting a little late, but I appreciate you guys' time. Let me just start by saying, damn. I mean, it's like I wrote the script, but I promise you, I didn't. It's just connecting dots. And the thing about it is, I'm not the only person that's made all the same calls, right? There's a ton of people out there that saw the same stuff I've seen and all of that. So that leads to reason that if a bunch of other people can do it, you can too. And that's kind of my whole angle. I like to point out the obvious, because sometimes what's obvious to me isn't obvious to others, right? And that's kind of like been my whole thing. Just come up on here and drop the bombs on them, pretty much. Because, you just got to come with the facts and figures. It's out there. Nothing is hiding. And, as the title of the stream goes, right now, they're really not, and we've talked about this before. We've perused with the idea that they're just going to go off the rails. And this is exactly what we're seeing now in all manner of places that you can think of. Thank you for showing up, guys, again. Well, shout out to all of y'all, especially if you were here early, right? Because I wasn't. So thank you guys for tuning in. But again, when you look at the landscape, the one thing that comes to mind for me is what the hell is next? Because these people really do not give a rat's. They will take the fact that they have the media at their disposal, and with that, they'll just relay any story that they like. Whatever it is, they just keep pushing it until they can't push it anymore because it just doesn't make any sense. And I mean, if you think back to So when they first started talking about impeaching, indicting Trump last week, all hell broke loose because the shit makes no sense. Never mind the fact that what they're trying to or claiming that they're going to indict him on has already been already tried, and it's already been proven that all of that was just made up. So I don't see how this ends well at all. Period. And I mean this in every sense of the word. Um, because now we're crossing over into a Rubicon that we're literally in uncharted territories. America, this society has never witnessed anything like this. This is not Salem. This is not the UK. This is not Europe. That shit does not happen here. And if they try to continue to push the issue, honestly, there's no telling what's gonna come of it. But it ain't gonna be positive. Well, in the sense of what the transitional process is gonna be, because at the end of it, they're gonna lose, because that's just how it works, right? Just like I've been telling you guys for a long time, all the things that they try to institute, they can't. Just not here. It's just not gonna happen here. People here aren't having it. And if you already see what they're doing, and shout out to my Australians, I'll try to start doing these streams earlier. That way you guys can catch them and whatnot. But if you guys take a look again at the landscape and see what's out there right now, it's very damning. Everything that's coming up and coming out. And it's like, how did you know that all this stuff was going to come out? And it's just because they set themselves up for it to come out. Every time they would attack Trump, they just didn't think about the fact that there would be follow through with that. And what that means is that if they could use it against one individual, well, it could be used against them, right? And anytime you try to create a legal situation, you open up the door for discovery. Now, if you don't know what discovery is, I suggest you Google that, because that really is the cornerstone of everything that makes the legal process, if there is a valid one, everything. Because everything has to be put on the table during this period of time. Period. There's no questions asked. And if anything is new, it has to be introduced to both sides. That's just how it works. Otherwise, what are we talking about? One side can just make up shit versus the other, and then it's not quote unquote fair, right? So again, this is all predicated on the fact that, or on the presumption that, the people involved are doing the right thing, right? And as we know, in most systems, justice systems that we know of, it's just not the case, right? We know there is no justice. There's no none of that. So the thing that's coming to the fore now is that it's becoming obvious, right? There was a point in time where everybody could not see it, but Trump is a very public person. He's been a public person my entire life, as far as I can remember. And whether you like him or not is irrelevant. Fact remains, there was a point in time when everybody liked that guy. Everybody. Everybody and they mama. So the question is, what the hell happened that all of a sudden he's not even America's the public enemy number one. He's the world's public enemy number one. What happened? Right? That's the question you got to ask yourself. And if you don't know about Trump's history, you should look into him. He had his own TV show on NBC. How the hell did he get that if he's not part of the system or whatever you say, whatever the narrative is? Right? That's the question. What happened there? And yeah, I told you so indeed. And we're not even done yet. The dollar is just on the edge of the cliff. The party's just getting started because now that much less internet. See, now it's interesting, right? Because what people don't understand is the mechanics of these things that are happening in the background that they can immediately see the impact of, like China and Russia saying we're no longer doing international trade in dollars. Now, a lot of people will make the claim that it doesn't matter, but it does significantly because a lot of countries are now doing trade with China and Russia, not with the US. Now, why is that? Because the US doesn't do shit. So, what do you think that means? The only trade the US has is financial. Or let me rephrase that. The only thing it can export is financial. That, like, we don't export nothing. What do we produce here? People, ideas, technology, maybe. I mean, these companies go overseas and hire local people, paying local currency. So again, what exactly is the added benefit? Give me a second, guys. All right, sorry guys, but as I continue to work, as the market continues to fall apart in interesting ways that people just don't understand, it just really highlights the fact that nobody has a clue. And that's really important that you, the individual watching, listening, understands that, because that means you have the edge. You're not just some random person that doesn't matter. That means that your thought process is relevant. Your decision making is critical. It's imperative. So don't slack on yourself, because you will pay the cost. It's not them politicians that are going to pay it. It's not me. It's you, not some other YouTuber, you. And this is important because at the end of the day, the financial system is being rugged in your face. And nobody really realizes that. I mean, people are acting like everything is normal, when in reality we don't have a financial system anymore. I mean, it's out the window, right? And this is important to understand, because what's left? The dollar is zero. I mean, it was 3 cents, 4 cents on the dollar, before all this happened. before Rona, before all the crap after Rona. Like, what do you think is left? Ah, good one, bro. If you would have listened to everything I said surrounding that number, you wouldn't even type that shit. So actually, yeah, I can't say that. But it's things like that. You gotta do for you, because nobody else has a clue, and I can't state how critical that is. You gotta do what's best for you, and you need to understand the situation that you are in, because we're all not in the same place. So as things unfold, some places might not even be impacted whatsoever, right? I mean, the U.S. is the center of this shit, and then the more blue of the place is, the more impact there's gonna be there, right? And that's really the best way to view it because that's essentially who's creating the situation. It's not the people that got no business, or have no interest in creating chaos, right? And we can see how they're doing it. They're going straight to these places where these jurisdictions are red voting, where you know what that means, that they're voting for Trump or for freedom in certain short. They don't want to deal with the system's crap. So they're going into these jurisdictions and they're just doing all kinds of things that create chaos, tipping over trains with all kinds of waste, hazardous materials, just whatever, you name it, they're doing it. Blowing up refineries, blowing up food processing plants. Like they're doing all manner of things. And how do you stop that? How do you stop that? Right? How do you take power from an enemy that you can't see, you can't recognize, you can't do nothing about? And the normal thought of of the the problem, right? I mean, it should be obvious that we've been infiltrated, right? No, and it's like I've said before, nothing just always goes against you 100% of the time. And this is how it was obvious to me. And this is before I even knew that from a math perspective. This is just like, there's no way. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, even in my life, good things happen to me on occasion. It's not always all bad. So, how the hell is it that from a societal perspective, it always is, right? And that's how I knew something was up before I could prove it. I mean, this was when I was a kid. It just didn't make sense. And it continues to work in the very same fashion. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy, man. And when does it stop? What up, Westcott? Man, shout out to you in your videos, yo. You funny as shit. How does it stop? It stops when we say they stop. Not a moment sooner. Because I'm gonna tell you, they're not gonna volunteer. They're not. It's like the fake crypto space. It exists because people let it exist. Nothing else. Give me a second, guys. All right, sorry, guys. All right. Anyway, so it's a it's a slew of things, right? And you, the individual, have to be cognizant of them all. There's no cheat sheet. There's no book. There's just understanding that you're being lied to because, for fuck's sake, it's obvious. I don't know how it's not. Get your shit together. If you're not in tune with what's going on, please, 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 it behooves you, especially if you're just getting into crypto, because that's really the reason it exists, is because of all of these things that are happening. And again, shout out to everybody in the chat. It's because of all these things that are happening. It really, really is. This is why I'm so emphatic about what crypto is, how it works, all these things that matter that people try to just dismiss as being irrelevant because they like whoever created some other nonsense. And look, I'm not saying I'm a hater, but if you're going to create something, it better meet basic principles of crypto, period. Otherwise, it's trash and it's not crypto and it's not my fault your ass can't read. Very basic. Because again, are you trying to be a Fed or are you trying to help the situation? It's real simple. There's no in between. And we're going to just start delineating just like that, because people just got it fucked up. It's 2023. It's not 2020 anymore. So what's your excuse? You can like whoever you like, but you got to respect the issue at hand. Crypto is not your play toy. It's a tool for us to find our freedom, because we clearly do not have it. And if that's a problem for you, that's cool. Just stay the hell out of my way, because I'm going to run you over like the steamroller that I am. Because as you can tell, no problems here. Because this is serious. This is not a game. Some people think it is, but it's not. And every day, man. Every day. Actually, that reminds me. Must re up. So yeah, you got to understand that this is really serious, and you already see how all the things that they've been lining up, CBDC, blah 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 blah. They are here pushing it. And they're pushing it hardcore, and they don't have any qualms doing it because they have control. It's their system that they're destabilizing and they're hoping to replace. Now, before we move on to charts and stuff like that, I got to take a little time out to again thank you guys for giving me your time, your attention, because when you really think about what a person has, all they have is their time and attention. So for you guys to be taking your time out to listen to the craziness I got to share, I appreciate it. And with that, there is going to be a little switch with how I do things. I am still going to stream, but I'm going to write a whole lot more, probably like once a week, just to be able to allow people to understand the information in a different sense. I know I personally like to read more than I like to watch and listen to people. So that's what made me prompt this idea in my head. Like, oh, I should probably write more. So to keep the wealth of knowledge going, what I will be doing is writing a little bit more and probably streaming like 2 times a month versus more than that. Because how much is there to really stream about? It's so much stuff is happening that you got to kind of let it all bunch up into. Give me a second. Okay, I think it's safe. Um, so again, you guys have been around, you've been respecting, and I appreciate it. That's really what it is. Because at the end of the day, you guys hear me. A lot of you don't dismiss me. You respect the information, and you go about doing what you need to do. And that's all it's about. Because at the end of the day, I'm just a conduit. I'm just a purveyor of the information. I'm showing you where it's at, and I'm doing my damnedest to help us all get to that lifeboat before it's too late. And that's really all we really need from each other. Just hey, I don't know how to tie my shoes, bro. Can you help? Can you show me how to tie my shoes? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how people try to make life harder than that. But they like to. Yep, sure am. And that's just what's going on. That's what's going on. Um, let's see. I think somebody wants to jump in here. Mister Finbear is probably gonna join us a little bit. And thank you guys for the super chat. I see him coming in. Um, so there's just so much going on. There's a lot of information that seems to be getting just lobbed out there, right? It's like 100 miles an hour. Things are changing all the time. Things are being exposed all the time now. It's just a different world. It's a different world. What's going on, Tori? Um, Rags, what's up, brother? Um, and when I stream, it'll probably be in the morning like this, just so you guys know. It just works better. And it'll probably be on a Friday too, because I'm home. I'm not typically in the office dealing with that nonsense. So, but life is good. We're gonna start talking about more market related shit. I'm gonna start talking about stocks and stuff more, futures and stuff like that. Cause I mean, our mission is simple when it comes to crypto. So the question then becomes, well, how do we keep that pot growing? Right now, as you guys know, I personally don't like to speculate in crypto because it's, in my mind, not for that. So I don't view it in that aspect. I like, you know, legacy finance crap for that. And until that disappears, that's pretty much where I get my play money from. So I'll just start talking about that. If you guys want to learn about options, let me know. I'll teach about that shit too. Whatever. It's real easy. You just gotta understand the components that make up the price, and that's really the hardest thing. Cause that typically, you just look at a number and you think that's it, but you got to understand some of the nuance behind it, cause there is some. Um, and that's just how it goes. So a lot of cool stuff coming. I'm gonna get really macro on it and just keep Hex and PulseChain and PulseX in the picture, cause clearly the motherfuckers is right around the corner. So we're about to be living a whole different kind of life, right? A lot of us, especially if you did the right thing and sacked during sack season. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you guys gotta remember that price was 0.001. That's the floor. Just want y'all to think on that for a little bit, because that shit is pretty serious, right? Like, that's pretty serious. That's a hell of a floor. I mean, there's a lot of coins that's trading under that, right? And once you take into account the actual liquidity structure of these coins, man, I'm a happy camper just thinking about it. I mean, you got to realize only 42,000 wallets, I think, got PulseChain. And I think it might have been 120,000 that got PulseX. But now everybody and their mama knows about them. Ain't that something? Mm-hmm. When World War III? Well, so it's interesting because if you ask me, we've already been in it. Um, what's up, D? We've already been in it. It's just not obvious because it's been a spiritual war, right? It hasn't been the obvious. We're gonna go fight with each other and blah blah blah, guns and bombs and all of that. It's been a different kind of war. Um, but it's already been on, and it's been on and popping really since 9/11. If you really want to get technical and think about it from a very holistic perspective, that's how long World War III has been going on. Because a World War III is a war on the people. People have it confused thinking that it's a war between nations. That's just the show. That's not real. Because Antarctica, that we're always gonna fall back and default to that Antarctica. And if you don't know, Google it. Cause like I told y'all, we're gonna be doing a whole lot of writing, a whole lot less talking. Cause the written word is just much more potent. It's just like all these buffoons talking about hex correlated, not correlated, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's decorrelated. You got to understand what makes it correlate. Because when you look at the big picture, and we're gonna do that, it's decorrelated. And that's important because when the big money comes knocking and they start doing their little math that whales already been doing, because they ain't caught up, and they look at that one fucking thing that stands out because it's just gonna be the one. Oh, and that's pretty much it on World War III. Just to answer that question. Um, what's coming as far as what you're talking about is just more of an escalation of the show, right? And that's really just all it is. So don't get bogged down in the nonsense of the fear. They're gonna orchestrate whatever they can get away with, just like they've been doing with the train derailments. Whatever chaos they can, they can drum up. They're gonna do it, and that's what you got to worry about. This is already World War III. I mean, it's already here. There's just different stages to the ship. That's all. All the PulseChain and PulseX sacrifices. Please remember, don't get high on your own supply. Thank you, D. Very, very prescient message. Because this is the time to, if you're not ready, if you don't have a full and complete grasp of wallet mechanics and all of that, learn it now. Don't wait until the day of PulseChain and your shit gets swapped. God, whatever. Please do it now. Whatever, whether it's a Gnosis safe hardware wallet, do it. Don't wait. We've been fairly warned. Yeah, it sure is bliss, isn't it? Till it's not. Till it's not. Till it's not. Welcome aboard, side. Welcome aboard. Yes, sir. This is accurate. The petrodollar has war money blood on it. It is war money. The petrodollar is war money. When you sit here and think back to the petroleum, just the oil situation, going back to when Iran was involved, you got to really do your research. Um, I mean, it's really interesting. Number one, and maybe we can do something about that because it's all related, macro and stuff. Maybe we can do that. It's really interesting history, the interesting of oil and how it became a hot commodity. Because at one point in time, it was just this black thing that was all over everywhere. Now they fucking issue blocks, so people can, they commoditize it to their benefit, like everything else, right? Like they're trying to do with crypto now, basically. And this is important to understand because at the end of the day, you're the one that suffers the brunt of their actions, not the other way around. Uh, so these are things you got to keep in mind because what are you going to do when you realize you're at the end of your rope and you have nowhere to turn? You're going to wish you did a lot of things different. You sure are. And why wait for that to come? Why not just avoid it? Why? Thanks for the super chat. How fake is what they are selling? JP Morgan Chase kept bags of stones in a warehouse thinking they were nickel. Yeah, people don't really understand. And I try to explain this shit all the time. And yeah, you don't gotta take my word for it, but at least go verify it. And that's why I say the things I say because they're verifiable. People need to grasp the fact that when I say something, it's just not an opinion in most cases. And as I was stating earlier, nobody has a clue, and that includes the so-called professionals. And here's proof: these are people that work in the commodities business. This was not a retail banking, yada yada, this and that. This was something that happened for real. What's going on, Finber?
Hey
This is
guys,
some
can you hear me okay?
yeah.
Cool. Please go on.
So yeah, this is just it's not surprising to me because I already know this is possible. But if you didn't know it was possible, your jaw should be on the floor. Number one. Number two, this should make you fucking rethink everything you thought you knew because this should not be possible. We're talking about these people thought a piece of metal was actually not a piece of metal. It was a stone. They thought a stone was a piece of metal. I mean, I can't even think of it straight because it's so ridiculous. What the?
Hmm.
Oh man, like yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm cutting off a bit, but uh, one really weird thing that people do is they exchange their legs for medals, which I find really weird.
yep. Do it unknowingly as well.
Yeah, like go and step on a landmine in a country that's not, and you get a medal. That's
Right,
fucking awesome.
right,
Yeah,
right.
shit's really looking weird over here, man. Like
Oh yeah.
everybody who is in NATO against their own protocols, they took us in as a so we're supposed to be joined into NATO once the papers are
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah
That's right, and that's a
once
big no-no.
oh, fucking hell, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a big
there's
no-no
gonna
for
be
those
some
that don't
funny
know.
shit. There's gonna be
Yeah,
some funny shit going on before that happens because like the
yeah, for
Russians
sure.
have been pretty clear about this for like the past
Oh
70 years that NATO
yeah, it's
is
not
an
confusing
absolute
at
no go.
all.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
and
pretty
and
crazy.
the NATO protocol states that you can't take on a new country if they're actively in war, which is really easy for Russia to organize. While at the like on the runway about to take off, they'll just shoot the fucking thing down, and they'll be like, "Oops, looks like we're in a war," and that's that for the NATO. Except we're gonna be at the shitty end of that stick for a while.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
man,
Jeez.
next Sunday is we're gonna have our elections next Sunday. Is like the main voting day. So like the crazy shit going on over here is beyond fucking belief.
Yeah, man. Good luck to you. Cause I hope the people are understanding what's going on. Cause that's really critical.
Oh yeah,
And thanks for the super chat, Morgan. Appreciate you. And you too, Nardo. Hope you're doing well, brother. Long time no speak. We're gonna have to catch up soon. But yeah, man, it's just crazy, yo. When I saw that, I was like, oh, here we go. Because they're trying to, you understand they're trying to get some sort of reaction. They're trying to provoke Russia, basically. No questions asked. Like they're trying to make them look like the bad guys.
oh yeah,
100%.
yeah,
And,
absolutely.
and it's just
I,
not gonna
I I
work.
just don't know. Yeah, I just don't know how they're gonna so riled up that I would feel any bit of like any bit more Finnish or how how the fuck are they gonna get me to want to fight for this fucking shithole? I'm taking
So
my
like they
kids
can't,
and the
and people
missus
have
and
to
we're
not.
getting the fuck out of the country. Yeah,
Well, that's the thing. People shouldn't go
Yeah,
anywhere. People should go get the motherfuckers out the way. I mean, that's the thing. Where you gonna go?
yeah,
Everywhere it's the same thing. If it's
yeah.
not
It's not
Finland, it's
gonna get
somewhere else.
yeah, it's not gonna get better until we see some red mist behind the heads of our
Yeah,
leaders.
it's sad but true. There's no more running. I mean, look at what they're trying to do in the U.S. They out here sacrificing kids left and right, pretending it's the gun's fault.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We gotta get
And
guns
don't
out of people's hands. You
and don't
you
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 dare call him a
law-abiding
her.
citizens. What?
And don't you dare call him a her.
Oh,
It's
right,
a
right, right,
it's a man.
right.
It's
Yeah, let's
Mister.
not forget the stupid shit. Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Jesus
Yeah, it's just
Christ.
a complete joke, and anybody that takes this shit serious, like you're just as
Mm.
good as a face diaper wearer. Like,
Yeah.
we're just gonna
Like
ignore you.
if you actually think that Trump being indicted has anything to do with anything, you're I I almost would like to say you're too far gone to
Really choppy, bro.
sort of waking up. Yeah. Oh shit. I guessed it, man. I
Yeah,
everything
real
was
choppy.
fine when I was listening to you on my phone, but once I hopped on, this is
Now it's
fucking
fine.
crap.
Now you're not choppy no more. So do that. Do whatever that is there.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know what I did. Uh, yeah, but it keeps like
Keeps working.
I tried to guide on Hex Foodies and yeah, and I'm fucking choppy as hell, man. Oh, thanks, Nardo. Nardo dropped in the $100, and I messaged and I typed in, "Hey Nardo, put my name in the card as well." So he dropped the fiver, just just to get me there, man.
That's funny.
You're a fucking champion, Nardo.
Yeah, he is, man. That he
Yeah,
is.
this is like all this money printing and the banks failing. That's like the proper news everybody should be following. Whatever they do to Orange Man is completely irrelevant.
Well, they're not
He's
gonna do
probably
anything
not.
because they can't.
No, of course not. He
Yeah,
didn't
like
do
like
anything illegal.
remember
But you
you.
can,
I don't know if you remember, but this whole porn star shit has already been debunked in court, like it's on record.
yeah, yeah. And even the who's it? Is it like a DA? He even skipped it when Trump was the president. Even he said that
Yeah,
this is
right.
not a
It's not gonna
case
fly.
for
Yeah,
anybody.
that's right.
But all of a sudden, when people are trying to get their money from their banks, now it's because they want you sitting in front of the TV shouting about Orange Man instead of standing in line at the bank trying to get
Right,
your money out.
right. No time for that. Like, wait,
Yeah,
what? Banks are
yeah.
falling apart. But look, so here's a pro tip, just in case something ever happens that you think your bank might be in a situation, where you got to go run to it. A little pro
Yeah.
tip, folks. A, do not physically go to a bank to get your money because they're gonna look at you like you're stupid. Plain and simple. What you need to do is send a wire transfer out immediately. That's what you need to do, and it's gonna cost you some money,
Oh,
but that's how you actually ensure your funds are safe if it's at a funky institution and you're on the clock. That's how
oh.
you do it. You don't go and get in a line that's never gonna move. That's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah. Well,
stupido.
the thing over here is all the banks have their hand in their neighbor's pocket anyway. So if I
Well,
send my money from one bank to the other one, it's just the other
hey,
bank that
hey,
goes
hey,
bankrupt with my money.
hey, hey. Pro tip. That's why crypto.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been
Right, right,
trying.
right. Because we
Yeah,
know it's the same everywhere. It's not like it's unique
yeah.
to Finland, bro. It's the same shit everywhere.
No, no. Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's why I've been trying to tell everybody that if you have any money left in the bank after this 3 years of craziness, like you you don't have any brains if you have money left in the bank and no crypto.
None.
There's
Yeah,
something wrong with you, man.
that's a fact. Yo, and there's a lot of
Yeah,
people that are in that camp, bro. They're just
yeah.
oblivious some way, somehow.
I've even heard people say shit like, "Well, if if I go and take my money out of the bank, wouldn't that just make the problem worse?" And that's like the
Yeah, they
stupidest
don't
thing.
understand that that's actually creating the
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. That's like the. I don't want to be the guy who takes out the last €100. I want to be the guy who
Right.
is sure to lose his first €100. Like, oh my fucking god.
Well, not even that. You want to be the guy that doesn't even have to think about it. That's what
Yeah,
you
in
really want to
crypto,
be.
that's like, yeah, absolutely. But
And that's by being a
the
crypto. Shout
way
out to you,
people
Rob.
they've been so brainwashed into thinking that value comes from the government that you have
Yeah,
to
well,
probably go someplace like El Salvador or South Africa or somewhere to realize that it's actually not the government who creates the value into the money.
I don't get it,
It's
man.
the people using the money.
Yeah, I really, and yes, to answer your question, Hexagon, yes. I don't get it. I don't get it. You stupid Tori.
Hmm.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Morgan,
I don't.
your mom is
She woke.
she's something else, man.
She's super woke. Shout out to your mom. Damn.
Yeah,
Like I'm like, what does she listen to? Because I be saying
yeah,
some crazy shit.
yeah.
Oh man. So shout
That's
out to her
fucking
though, because
awesome.
at least it. Here's the thing. Innately, we all know there's a problem. The problem
Mm,
is that
mm,
it's hard for us to be able to elaborate what that problem is, or to be able to say, look, that is what's wrong. Like I was that person. That's how I know. I just made it my business to find out what the fuck is going on because of the things that I had lived. That's really it. I had a specific pointed life in this direction. Just that's just what happened. Everybody didn't have that.
mm.
Some people did, and there's a lot of people that did, and that's why they know the shit that I know. It's not just me. There's gonna be a lot of people that are in this camp. That's the people that created crypto, for fuck's sake. They're miles ahead, eons ahead of a lot of us, because they created it.
Yeah,
Imagine thinking, what's the solution to this surreal problem? Because it is a surreal problem. How do we take back control of our lives? How do we not?
yeah. People,
d- Go
it's
ahead.
it's it's very rare to find a guy who immediately gets what Hex is about. But every now and
Just
then, like
crypto
I
in
had my
general, bro. Never mind Hex.
yeah,
Just crypto in general. Just
yeah,
crypto in
yeah.
general.
Well,
But Hex is
a
pure
friend of mine,
crypto.
a friend of mine been in Hex with me for almost the entirety of what we've been in existence. He met a guy and they spoke about crypto, and it took him like 5 minutes to get it. And
Nice.
that was a few days ago. Now he has like hundreds of thousands of hex, and it's all staked, and the dude
Ama-
gets it. And
Amazing.
now he's learning more about teasers and stuff. But it's a rare beast when you find somebody who can think outside the box, because we've been shoved into the box for so long
100%.
that that you almost have to feel like there's something wrong with you for not being able to fit in the box.
Right.
And
Yeah.
every now and then you meet somebody who's just like that, and oh my god, like it feels so good to find those people, and you know that you're helping them on their journey. They'll be really happy in say a year and a half from now.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
It's
even like a
crazy.
bonus.
Yeah, it's really crazy when you think about how quickly things can change, and then what the end result can be of that quick change, because everybody wants um everybody wants that success. Question
Yeah,
is, are they willing to do what it takes? to find it. And some people just don't know what it takes, so they can't even say yeah or no, even though they know they want to. So it becomes a freaking whole thing, right? But crypto kind of solves that problem in two ways. Because, why is it so hard to succeed in our society? It's a twofold problem. Because, A, even if you work, you're a good worker, blah, 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 you do all the right things. Um, you know, hold on, guys. Gee.
You're being paid with the magic squares. So while the police are behind his window, let me continue a bit. So the way I see this is the difficulty is that even though you do all the right stuff and do the right things in the regular finance field, you're still getting fucked because they just print more of the money you're trying to save. So there's no way for you to get ahead.
Nope. Well, that's just it, right? It's like, when do things start to make sense? Because, I mean, if you've been around for a while and you've kind of been paying attention, nothing makes sense, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
nothing makes sense. And the
Mm.
question is, why? Nah, it'll be here. I'll
because
probably just keep it.
because yeah, they don't want anything to make sense because that creates the illusion that you're completely powerless.
Right.
And once you're in a situation for a long enough time where nothing makes sense, you sort of just put your hands up and you come to the conclusion that other people, the experts, better take care of this because it makes no sense to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. That's right.
Yeah. So that's how they got us into NATO. They all of a sudden stopped talking about the Rona and started talking about NATO, and they walked in all the talking heads uh, onto on TV and interviewed them in newspapers and shit, and everybody had the same message. I'll just trust the experts in what they say. All I
Right.
know is I know nothing, and I trust the experts. That was the thing that they fed us for weeks, and then uh, the Finnish version of the BBC had they did one sort of questionnaire thing where they interviewed 1,700 people, and from that interview, they concluded that everybody in Finland wants to join NATO. That's that's what they're standing on. That's like the basis of this
Yeah, that's
entire
sample.
thing.
That's sample.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, people only knew statistics, and then this is one of the biggest things that people love to lean on stats, but they don't really know anything about stats. They just parrot whatever statistical measure they are given by some random mouthpiece.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and that's the commonality. That's the common thing that is done. Everywhere. I don't think there's any place. Um, I don't think there's any place where that doesn't happen. I mean, that's just how it goes, right? I mean,
Hmm.
you either get it or you get got. that's
Yeah,
that's really what it
yeah.
boils down to, man. Um,
Hey, did you guys see Richard's last tweet? He tweeted that. Why does it feel like every day is April Fool's Day?
as it is.
Yeah, yeah, like you have to check yourself every time. Am I being fucking had? you,
No, I
you
mean,
guys
but yeah,
pulling my
everybody
leg?
is being had. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's why I don't understand it. Right? I don't
Oh,
understand it. Like, how do you sit there and think that what is going on is okay? I don't get that.
yeah, yeah. There's this really interesting study that I saw somewhere where I think it was something like 40% of the people today have no inner dialogue. Like you're walking or running or doing something repetitive and you're not necessarily listening to a podcast or something, but
Hmm.
you're alone with your thoughts. You start to you sort of create this conversation. There's like this voice in your head. Of course it's you, but you're sort of going through something in your mind. And like almost half of the population has no inner dialogue, which at
Right.
first felt like a really funny thing, like almost laughable that people can be that stupid. But what is actually quite frightening about it means that those people have no morals, and they have no regret, and they lack like empathy.
Yep. That's
They're
right.
just like automatons that are just kicked, and they react to whatever it is that they bump into in their day-to-day life. But once they're alone at home, nothing's going on, like inside the brain box.
Hmm. Hmm. Yep.
That is fucking frightening. Like
Well,
half
that
of the population is just like cows.
is common, bro. I mean, this is why living in cities is such a thing. It's an experience because what you see is a mass of people that live in that fashion, just like
That
that.
is just
They're
horrible.
just they're just going from A to B to C to D. A lot of people just in the way. They're not even going anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. That's horrible, man.
Yeah,
So those people have no conscience.
none. I mean,
There's
and then
nothing
think
in their
about
mind
this,
that
because yeah, you can't have any conscience. Why? Well, what has society taught? What has society been emphasizing on in the past 20, 30 years?
you have
Desensitization
to
of
fit.
everything.
Yeah, of violence and all
Violence,
sort of
sex,
perversions and shit.
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything, bro. I mean, I think about myself and I think about my mom and it's like, yo, I'm a deviant compared to her. She can't think of half of the shit I think of because she just has no idea that it even exists. You get what
Mm.
I'm saying?
She's
Because
she's
hasn't been
what used to
exposed
be
to
a
it.
decent person.
Right. Because she hasn't been
Yeah,
exposed to 90% of the shit I've been exposed to because of TV or
yeah,
whatever is in America because she didn't grow up in America. Right. And that's a real thing. And then it's so real now that now we're talking about generational changes, right? Where people in America that grew up at a certain point in time can't fathom or even relate to people in the same country that grew up at a different point in time,
yeah.
right? And I'm not
Like
even talking, and I'm not even talking
like
like the
Gen
typical,
Z,
yeah,
like Gen Z and millennials, or
right. And I'm not even talking
just
about the typical, like that
just
typical
the
stuff.
difference. Yeah, just the difference in uh like how much they value uh like their home country, or how much they value starting a family or getting married. That like Gen Z don't give a fuck about that.
Mm-mm, none of that.
I can't imagine how that could be. Like, what on earth caused this to happen? That we raise up kids who have no feelings, have no empathy, don't want to start a family, they hate their parents. This is not gonna end well. We're gonna have to start, like you and I, we're gonna have to start producing culture. Even though I don't like that Tim Pool guy, he's a fucking fence sitter. But he has a point that if we don't get into producing culture, we're only consuming the shit that they're giving us.
That is true.
So I've been thinking about all sorts of ways that I could get into that kind of a thing without having to get into it too much, like personally. So maybe like something uh, like a foundation or something might be a good idea.
Mm-hmm. 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 Ah, yes, good old Fed now is already out and about.
Mm. It's
Yep.
supposed to
So,
be safer, than the regular bank transfer.
of
I didn't
course.
I didn't know it was that unsafe actually. I thought bank transfers were perfectly safe before, but if the Fed says they're not, I guess they haven't been.
Well, you know how that goes. Just destroy the banking system one time and let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
Oh
We'll
man,
see.
they're gonna have emergency meetings regarding Hex and PulseChain. Like what are we gonna do? It's sucking up all the money. Like people won't stop buying it. How are they gonna stop it?
Can't.
Everything else is fucked. Like if you're in Ethereum, you're pretty much fucked. They're all
Yep.
bug eating assholes over there. So
Fuck
if you
easy
want,
assholes. That's
so if you
funny.
want to have like any swing at freedom, Pulse, like my friend from Sweden says, Ivan on Hex says, Pulse chain is your only
Ah,
opportunity.
he used to be such a hex hater. Fuck that guy.
No, he just wanted his 30 grand. No,
Yeah.
I
Oh
don't
well.
think nobody paid him. So now he had to
Uh,
buy his own bags and now he's
oh,
shilling it.
good for him.
Yeah. He said it on stream once. Somebody spent like a whole $100 trying to get him to say something about Hex. And he said, dude, I get $30,000 for a coin review. I'm not talking about Hex.
Well,
Yeah.
sucks to be
But
him.
now he's all about Pulse chain.
Mm-hmm. Good for him. I
Yeah.
mean, how many times can you look dumb, right?
Yeah, hopefully he knows better this time. But guys, how much are you gonna spend on the pulse that we've waited for like almost 2 years now? Are you gonna be spending all of it on these fucking ICOs that are going around? Because I'm really worried that a lot of you guys are gonna spend all your hard earned and dearly waited for pulse chain for like you're gonna lose most of it to all this other crap that's coming about.
Oh, I already talked. I already called that as soon as PulseChain was announced, bro.
Yeah,
That's easy peasy. 1, 2, 3, man. Yeah, very easy.
yeah, it's
That's
gonna
that's a
be
given.
really hard to sit on your hands and do nothing.
Eh, Motherfuckers better start training them hands.
Yeah.
Better start sitting on them shits or something. Literally, like there's gonna be
Mm.
nothing to do.
Only thing
You
that I
know.
would be, I would be interested in. Yeah, yeah, I will be interested in getting some hex if, if people really dump that to the ground.
Oh
I'm
yeah, that's a no
I'm
brainer. But
definitely gonna go in and
that's
swoop
sensible.
it,
That's not
swoop
doing
a bit,
anything
but that's it.
risky though, right? Yeah, that's not doing
Yeah,
anything risky
yeah.
though, right? And we're talking about risky shit. I don't think we're talking about sensible shit, right? I don't think
Oh,
we're.
I don't consider buying hex risky at all. I know how
Yeah, yeah.
exactly how it works. Yeah,
Right. Correct. Yeah.
yeah.
From my perspective, that's like one of the safest things you can do. And
Mm.
I've always
Oh, for
had that
sure.
stance, you know. And
Yeah, and
oh, didn't the dollar the stable coin depegging prove that? Didn't it
yeah,
prove that? Sure
absolutely.
did.
Yeah,
Sure did.
yeah. That was weird, but it's so
Hmm.
safe if you think about it. Like you stake it, you burn it. There's nothing left of it, so it's gonna be really hard. If say you have like 10 accounts or something, it's gonna be really difficult to find 10 accounts from you where you have your stakes if there's no tokens left in the accounts. So even if somebody goes through all the accounts and sees all the balances, they still won't find any of your hex.
Right. Yeah, shout out to your brother PDC. Good for him. His brother's apparently a new on board. He got it immediately.
Awesome, PD.
Yeah, good shit. And thanks
Yeah.
for the super chat, bro. Good stuff. Yep, very
Yes, this
simple.
is awesome. Like, and I'm seeing a lot of new guys in the chat, which
Ah,
which
that's good.
really makes me feel good.
That's
That's
good.
freaking awesome.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to that much, but you're right. There is yeah, coming soon. Get your wheelbarrows ready. I mean, look, the cost of shit in the US is up. Like, it's noticeable.
Oh
Like,
yeah, over here
motherfuckers
as
are
well.
out here robbing and stealing like it's something to do. Nobody gives a fuck no
Yeah,
more.
you know
So
things are bad when there's like these anti-theft stickers on meat, like on a
and you live
steak.
in
Yeah.
Finland, bro. What the fuck? Where you that's and you talking about the US or where you live at?
Yeah, I'm talking about the US.
Oh,
We don't have that
okay.
over here
I'm
yet.
about to
Yeah.
say, damn, it's
No,
like that over there
see,
too.
most of our minced meat that we sell over here is half pork and half beef. So
Gotcha.
nobody's stealing that as half pork, so they can't eat it.
Right, right, right.
But like yeah, steaks are already behind the counter, so you have to ask for them anyways.
Ha, smart. Thank
Yeah,
you, Ultra. Appreciate it. Yeah, but
yeah.
yes, Hex is
But
the way.
what I have heard is that people who used to buy like sirloin steaks, for instance, and like these women walking in with an expensive fur coat or something, and they go to the meat guy at the meat part of the shop, and they are very loud about wanting the same sirloin they always buy, and they take the sirloin into their cart and cart away somewhere, and before they go to the register, they fucking hide the meat somewhere behind the fucking macaroni or something so that they don't
Very
have to pay
nice.
for it. But they still got all the feel good of going to the going to the meat guy and being very loud about buying that stuff. So then
Great.
the shopkeeper has to walk behind them and see what else they've like. That's a perishable food item. It goes bad really fast if you put it behind the macaroni. You can't sell it like 2 hours later to some anybody
Yeah,
else.
pretty much. Fuck are they thinking?
Yeah. So we see shit like this going on here, but
Wow.
people don't yet steal meat, but they pretend to to buy expensive meat.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I don't even know what to think of that.
Yeah, that's weird. Like you want to go through the motions of being a successful person, so you want to go to the guy and buy expensive cuts of meat, even though you don't have any money to pay for it.
Yeah, I don't really get that.
So they're
I
like
don't get how that.
larping. They're larping like they have money.
Yeah, I mean, why would you do that? Just get what you need and go. I just
Yeah,
like
yeah, but
nobody's counting what you
there's
taking.
a lot of people who have their entire sort of value as a person is tied very very closely to how much they can spend and how much money
I
they
mean,
have.
I hear that, but if you're
Those
just
be
picking it up
fucked
to
in a
put it
few months.
down, but if you're just picking it up to put it down, I mean, how is that? How is
Yeah,
that what you're doing
yeah,
there?
they're
I mean,
picking it
you're not.
up. They're putting it in the cart and they're taking off towards the aisle 5 where you get your toilet paper and and before they get to the toilet paper, the bag is missing, but they didn't steal it. They just leave it somewhere else.
It's completely
That's weird.
ridiculous.
I guess they yeah, I guess they wish that a neighbor or something would come across them and see that they have expensive meats, even though things are looking down over here.
Right. Well, good for them. Somebody got to do it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to make of
Yeah,
it, man.
that's
I'm caught up on all the chats finally.
yeah,
Get
that's
these
weird.
damn charts. All right. Let's
All
get it
right, all
on.
right. I'm gonna mute myself. I don't
So
want to
wow.
fuck it up for everybody who's here for the chats. So I'll mute myself. You go.
All right. So the last night's price for the crossover was 9 cents. The top chart shows basically from big payday forward. Bottom left chart shows the past, I guess, 400 days or so. And the bottom right, I said bottom left, right? Bottom right shows the past couple hundred days. And it's just a three plot view, three different points in time, or three different vantages of time. And as you guys can see, it looks like we kind of just bounced off this nice level of support that was resistance. So we should probably keep plugging on higher from here on out. Question is, how much higher? And with that, I don't really know, right? That's always a good question. Always a hard one to answer. But time is always your friend. That way you don't got to answer that question. You just let the market do all the work. All right, so this chart is showing you price of HEX in white. I'm guessing the staked HEX is in red. I really don't know what color you guys are seeing because my screen is a different tint. And then the staked HEX in the red is on this right side here, and this is the integer count, meaning the count that you would do with numbers. The left hand side is showing the percentage, and we dropped from 10.23% or so to 9.64 after the big stake came out a few days ago. We've had some sizable stakes come out, and there is a chart showing how the T-share rate has not changed with the exit of these stakes. Just further letting credence to the fact that the size of the stake is not what changes the T-share rate. And thank you for the super sticker, Steven. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys watching and appreciate you guys, 160 plus viewers. How many hex for $1? Right now we're at 11 cents when the price is, or 11 hex when the price is 9 cents. Excusez-moi. And the correlation heat map. This is for the entire hex history. Now you read this going across from right to left, or I'm sorry, from left to right. So hex versus itself is going to be a correlation of 1, and then hex versus the T-share, luckily for us, is a correlation of 1. Because this is programmed. The T-share is programmed. So you want the price to consistently follow the T-share because it's supposed to. Hex versus ETH, 20%. Hex versus Bitcoin, 18%. So it's down here in the lower quarter of the correlated area. So it's not correlated really. It's slightly correlated. And in order for it to really hold some weight, a correlation, you kind of want to see it be at least 50%. And unfortunately for the haters, it's way less than that versus ETH and BTC for both Hex and the T-share. So we'll keep it moving. So this is a 21-day rolling correlation versus the Hex price. The Hex price is in pink. And then you got all these other lines and showing you the correlation. Now there's a legend in the upper left showing you the readings for the correlation, and all of them are currently under 50%. What you'll see, and these charts are all available on whalesonly.com/charts for those that don't know. But what you'll see is as we travel through time, the correlation goes from positive to negative. Positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. Right? Only recently has it remained positive. But that's because we've been in a bear market and all of that. Like, and when things are in bear mode, everybody's doing the same thing. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. So this is why we've been seeing similar price action across the board. Not a coincidence. And this is kind of what we saw, right, from day 8, around day 800, probably like day 775 or something like that. Around here, you just see correlation just grind higher, right, to the point that, and this is short term, right, really short term, 21 days, to the point that We even saw it hit almost 80%, right? And then most recently, once we broke out of the bear market, I mean, the correlation just collapsed from 80% all the way down to 20%, right? Like, boom, instant, letting you know Hex is already doing its own thing. And only after that did correlations get caught up or start reversing from moving in a negative fashion to moving in a positive fashion, meaning that Ethereum and whatever else had turned around versus Hex and all that. And this is a 34-day rolling moving average for the correlations. And again, you're going to see the same thing. It's just going to be less of a range, right? Because you're adding more time to the calculation. So that's going to widen out the number of slices, so to speak, in the cake or in the pie, right? So that's going to minimize the range. And 55 days even further out. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but up here, you got the Hex versus the T-shirt correlation. And if you guys will see, it's essentially a flat line. And if you look at the legend, the bottom one across every chart is showing one, right? And that's what you want to see, right? There's again this here, that one, right? That's what you want to see. Because that again is what's going to drive the value long term. And yeah, over time you're going to have these little glitches in the correlation, and that's normal because no system is 100% perfect, right? And we can't, do nothing but that. So these are just important things to understand because people will always say X is correlated, and nah, it's not correlated. It's just rolling on a rolling basis. It gets correlated to other markets because people react to other markets. Everything it doesn't trade like Hex because Hex is not on these other exchanges and all that. So it can't be correlated by default. Like just based on that alone, it can't be correlated.
Yeah, it may be that people who lose money in the other markets have to take out cash from Hex, which is
Right.
why they're selling because they're
Correct.
completely washed out on some other platform or something.
Yep. Precisely. Here we got the T-shirt rate over the past couple hundred days. And as you guys can see, over the past couple hundred days, we was at 23,000. Now we're at 26,727. 26,727 and a half. And I don't even know if it's changed from last night to this morning, but it's changing a lot lately.
Yeah, I think it
And
changes a couple of times a day. Like if you look at hexfire.io, Crispy Man
mhm,
has all the stakes who could be ending today, and when they end their stake, they ratchet up the T-share price. So that
for
usually
sure.
happens a couple of times a day, but but the amount that it goes up is so small that it's like you don't notice it when we have these 700 hex days
Well, right.
to
But
compare it to.
the thing to understand is that if you look at these little dots here on the bottom, you'll see that the grouping is much tighter, right? Like from here on forward, the grouping is much tighter versus before, where it was kind of loose. They weren't really tight like that.
Mm,
Now, the reason for that is because, as you just explained, there's a lot more small changes happening because there's a lot more stakes ending, and the
yeah,
stakes are a lot older, right? They're not. You don't have just little stakes coming out,
yeah,
and then when you got huge old stakes coming out, that's where you get these big old, rate hikes from. Our own type of rate hikes,
yeah, yeah.
not like the Fed
These
shit.
are the kinds you want to see
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
when you're staked.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah,
Because over time, we just end up making more in terms of the payout because the system just works in such a way that it minimizes uh, or maximizes the dispersion of the payout for the existing holders. That's why you got to get in there and just ride it, ride that wave.
yeah. Like check this out, guys. Like if it feels like it's expensive to burn 8,500 hex to get one T-share for 15 years, during that year 15, that one T-share is probably gonna pay you out more than 70 hex every day.
It's actually going to be kind of crazy. It's going to be hard to
Yeah.
tell what it's going to do.
Well, you can do like calculations on the stakes that are existing now. So of course it's gonna be higher
Yeah, but you
because
can't
we're
see
gonna
what the
have more.
T-share rate is going to do. Not necessarily the T-share rate, but what the payout is going to be. I mean, you could just forecast some average reduction in the number of T-shares over time, and that shit's probably going to be wrong anyway. So,
Yeah, but still it's gonna be in the tens, if not in the hundreds of hex that is gonna pay out
Oh
in
yeah, yeah, yeah.
15
It's gonna
years.
be ridiculous for those of us that have been
Yeah,
around from early days. Yeah, for us it's gonna be crazy because
yeah,
we're not gonna pay we're not gonna have to pay what it costs at that point in time to get that. And
yeah,
that's what
yeah. It's
people
gonna be.
don't think of. They don't think forward. They think now. But at that point
Yeah.
in time, you're gonna wish you bought that shit now. That's how
Oh,
it works.
that's for damn sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's how it works. This is a good question. If all exchanges go mad and list Hex will jump over $100 probably. But at that time becomes a bit correlated. So let's talk about this because this is actually a two-part scenario. Number one, if if exchanges are listing Hex, that means they're buying that shit. First of
Or
all,
minting it. Yeah.
not well they can't mint it. They gotta buy it first of all
Mhm.
because that means they
Yeah.
don't have it because nobody's giving it to them. They gotta
Oh,
buy it.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
So that's number one. So if all of these exchanges get hip to the game and realize they need to have Hex because they're gonna make money in more ways than one than just by buying it, then that means that the price is gonna skyrocket by default. Now, taking that into account, it's important to remember that Hex is already low liquidity. So based on that alone, just that little fact alone you gotta understand it's gonna jump a lot. Never mind once they list it. That's secondary. They got to get the coin first,
yeah,
right? Like, this is important to understand because people be talking about these exchanges like they matter. They're irrelevant. They're on the same playing field as all of us.
yeah. We've pretty much proven that exchanges don't matter at
They're
all.
irrelevant as fuck. And I will say
Yeah,
that to the end of time because it's 100% true.
yeah. And oh my God, if they let people short it, it's gonna that's gonna multiply
So let's talk
the
about that.
pumps.
How would that work, right? Because how do these bootleg exchanges in crypto typically work? They don't, right? They're like fractional reserve banks. They
Yeah.
just let you do whatever, and there's nothing really backing any of the transactions that are happening on the books.
No, no.
So if an exchange was to pop up where there was a real collateral based system where you could short Hex, that would be phenomenal because that means they would have to have the Hex on the books to allow people to short against it. That would be the only way.
Yeah, yeah. But
Otherwise, it's just paper.
that place would be drained of their hex pretty fast, I think. Like
Well, yeah,
there are
because
big,
it's not
there are
something you
big,
short.
big players. Yeah, there are big players here who would just go and fucking wreck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't matter if you're leveraged long or short. They'll take the opposite side and just take your coins and send it out of the exchange.
Hope that answers your question, Mackenzie. Because yeah, that second part whether it becomes correlated or not, that really depends on you know if they get the coin first of all. So
Yeah,
at that point, it'll
and
become decorrelated because ain't nothing else gonna
yeah,
be moving like Hex.
and wouldn't it mean that us Hexicans who are already used to using decentralized exchanges, we would have to start using those centralized exchanges for our sells and buys as well?
I mean, you don't
Then
got to,
then
but people
no,
will.
but that but if people did, then it would be sort of more correlated. But in a situation like this, I don't think it would increase the correlation that much, because we're not going to go back to the worse system now that we've already learned how to use the better one.
I mean, again, it doesn't matter because they got to buy the hex first. So good luck to them.
Uh-huh.
At the end of the day, we winning, so it don't really matter. You know what I mean? Like they gotta buy the hex first. There's nowhere for them to go. There's no
Yeah,
window where they're gonna walk up and be like, "Hey, here's X amount of dollars. Let me get that hex off the books."
yeah, yeah,
Doesn't exist. They gotta buy that shit in the open market
yeah.
now. So good luck
Or,
to
or,
them.
or yeah, and they would also need some T-shares for the company so that they get more hex in the future.
Yo, some of these motherfuckers might not even go that far, bro. Like you speak insensibly. Why are you doing that?
Yeah,
Stop.
I'm sorry. Sorry for being too sensible, guys. This
Yeah,
is the
yeah, yeah.
first time I've ever heard heard this sentence.
Yeah, stop doing that. I'm about to ban you from the show. How dare you? How dare you be a sensible thinker? What the fuck? I mean, it's a joke, right? Because
Yeah,
we know we know that that's sensible, and what do they do? The opposite.
yeah.
Boom.
They never do anything that would actually benefit us.
No,
That goes for the politicians as well as the finance people. They
100%.
they always want to make it
It's
good
all the
for
same. It's all the
themselves,
same.
and
Politicians, finance people
we're
is
the
really
guys.
all the same.
Yeah, we're the guys who already learned to pick up the tab
Right.
and eat the bucks for them to make it good in
The
life.
bugs. Yeah.
Uh,
They're really trying, man. They're trying to push whatever they can. It's so sad. Like they have no way of pushing their agenda that's sensible, right? So they got to resort to all the dumb things that they can. I mean, it's just sad.
yeah,
All right, so yesterday's payout was 6.458 hex at a t-shirt price of $2,428 or 82 cents. I mean, that's a rent, guys. And
wasn't it? It was just like 100 days ago or something. It was
got a
just a
chart coming.
bit above $300.
Got a chart coming. Where is it? Right here.
Yeah,
This is $100. So
it's like
from
maybe
here to here is a
300.
thousand, right? So this is gonna be
Yeah,
200,
it's like three, 400.
300, 400, 500, 600. So yes, yes,
Yeah, T-shares are the best appreciating asset class in the world.
yep, forever and always. I mean, just look at this. This is what you get daily for just holding it. And again, I wrote a piece in my Substack, um, kind of relaying how you even get free alpha, right? That you don't even have to work for. It's just a gimme from being staked. And
Hmm.
it averages on 4% across Hex's entire history so far, 4.5% or so. I mean, you're not getting free alpha anywhere for just being involved in anything. And that's something that, again, once people figure all these things out, they're not gonna believe that they weren't around day one. They're gonna be so mad. Seriously. Like
Hmm.
you guys will see. So here's the couple average payout lines here. Average payout per T-share. We got 21 day, 34 day, 55 day. 21 days giving us a read of 6.42 hex. 34 days 6.4 hex. 55 days is 6.53 hex, and the all-time average is 5.146 hex. And of course, it's going to go up every day because it pays out every day. And this is what it would look like in fiat terms in blue, the payout. And all that is really just a daily payout multiplied by the hex price at the close. And this is what that would look like. So interesting chart.
Man, these charts look nice.
Yeah, right. It's a beautiful thing with little coding can help you do. This is a 60 cent payout too for one T-share, and that's at $2,500. I mean, this was paying out nothing. You know, when it costed
In the
nothing,
beginning.
$300.
Yeah,
Yeah, what it costs.
yeah, yeah.
60 cents doesn't sound like a lot, but that's only because the price is 9 cents. And
Yeah,
the messed
imagine
up thing
imagine you
is
have to wait you have to wait for like 10 years to be able to sell it if you're staked out for like 10 years or something. Doesn't feel like a lot now, 60 cents a day, but
right,
that
right. That's what I'm
60
trying to
cents is
say.
gonna be
Yeah.
a fuck ton of hex to sell
Yeah.
in
Well, here's
10
the
years.
thing. It's that's one angle. There's multiple angles, right? That's one side of it. All the hex that you're gonna accrue as a staker. That's one. Two, on the back end, right? All the hex that's required to get these 60 cents keeps growing.
Mm,
It doesn't stay the same because that T share only goes up. That T share rate, it only goes up,
yeah.
right? It only goes up. So that means that this 60 cent, it could cost you $3,000 one day. The next day it could cost you 1,000. It's about when you pick it up, right? Some people don't know when to pick it up.
Yeah, New Year's was a great time to buy fresh hex.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
That I did a stream on the day of the low. I called it, bro.
Yeah, I think I saw it, but
28.
I think I saw it on the replay or something. You were
Probably. Yeah.
probably out
It's
of
not
my
like I was
time
out
zone.
here advertising it like, hey, it's the low, it's the low. You know how motherfuckers
Yeah.
are. I just did it in my own way. You either caught it or
Yeah.
you don't. Peace.
That's the same you did with Hadron back when
That's
it
right.
was at the low.
Yep, that's
When
right.
was it?
January,
June.
June. Sorry,
June. Yeah,
I always
June,
say
July,
January when I
something.
mean June.
Yeah, it's the J's that get
Yeah,
confusing.
for sure is, man. But yeah, bro. That T-share rate is that variable that makes this become unattainable for some because they don't understand delaying gratification and the optimal vantage point of just being a long-term thinker and having a long-term point of view. I've been looking for something that makes sense, right? All the time. Like that's what we're always looking for. And when you find it, you gotta latch onto it. And thinking long term is one of those things that I found to really be supreme above all else. And so far, Hex has only cemented that belief in my mind. I mean, look at this: 6,246 Hex, creeping on 4.7, and it looks like we're encroaching, going right back to that line again. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but for the longest time, Hex was riding this, and then it exploded and took off, and then it came back down, and now it looks like we're gonna go back and touch it again. So it's gonna get interesting here.
Oh yeah,
T-shares.
it's
Go
gonna be
ahead.
an awesome bull market.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. We're
yeah,
we're gonna ride that motherfucker until at least 2025.
no, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know what your sort of plan was for all the data that you're gonna go through, but if you can find find it from within yourself, you remember when you went through the how the price always hit those multiples of what was it like the multiples of two. So we did like
Coinbase too. Yeah.
see, yeah. So I'd really like to hear you touch on that subject as well after we're done with these,
Sure.
because that's gonna blow some people's minds. Guys are talking about $2 hex like that's the end goal.
You know how that is, man. People don't get it. So cumulative change in total T shares. This is from Big Payday on forward. We're almost at 800,000 total net losses in T shares. Now, so that's something that comes on the back end of that, and we'll see that chart shortly. Um, Here's again the cost of a T share. So the line in white is at no duration, meaning you just staked it for a day. Cost of a T share at where you get double uh, double the count for your hex is at 909 days, and this will change with time. I think this one might not. I got to check that. I don't think it does change. Probably doesn't. And then the all-time low cost for T-share comes when you are going past the 3,000, the 10-year mark, 3,650 days, and that's the pink line, yellow and white, right? And as you guys can see over time, they just do what they do, right? And you just have to be cognizant of what they're doing as an investor, because that's what you are. You can't let somebody else tell you. You just got to understand what's going on. Because somebody else is telling you what happens if they take a day off on an important day. You gonna blame them or you gonna blame you? Something could happen.
Hmm.
You don't know. You know.
Yeah.
So you gotta take
So
control
what the
of your own
green line,
life.
so what the
So
green line is showing is that you're gonna have to be staked for.
at least 909 days to pay that price.
Cool, cool.
Yeah. So this is meant to be one T. White is meant to be one T share. This is meant to be two. That's meant to be three.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Right?
So
Because
that's
when you stake the same quantity of hex for
for
those number
longer.
of
Yeah.
days, that's what you
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
That's what you get. So that's the thinking behind this chart. All right, here's the APY. And again, we can see versus the price, we can see the big stakes coming in and coming out, right? When the APY goes down in a short, when the you see this chart go down, that means a big short stake went in. And when you see it go up, that means a big short stake went out. Go down,
Oh yeah.
big short stake went in. Goes
Yeah.
up,
And
big
those
short
were the
stake went out.
huge ones.
Yep,
They were the really big ones. Yeah.
that's right. So
And
as you guys can see, huh? Go ahead.
that dude did us a favor in the future by ratcheting up the T-share price, creating more hex, which
Well, it's gonna happen
causes.
regardless. You don't gotta
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
him. It's happening
No.
regardless,
No.
bro. Like he's
But
just one
it's
of the many drops of
yeah.
water in the ocean.
Yeah, but these bumps in the early stages of the road, they're gonna really matter once we get to the end point.
Well,
It's
every
sort of
point
like
matters, and that's the
if
point.
you're aiming at the moon, you only have to be a few degrees off, and you don't see the fucking thing.
Well, the whole
That's what
point is to
I'm.
get there. You know what I'm saying? And to get there, every step counts. You can't skip no steps on the way to the moon. You know what I'm saying?
No,
If not,
that's
you're
true.
gonna miss
Yeah,
it. You ain't
yeah, yeah.
making it, and that's my point. Like there is no one individual that is greater than any other in this system. You know what I'm saying? Because all of us make it live. Otherwise, there is no network and there is no growth. And that's kind of the important thing to understand, because every individual is what gives this thing power. Because why does the other system continue to persist? Because we give it power. All honesty,
Mm,
go
that's
out there and
that's
tell a
why.
motherfucker to stop using fiat. They're gonna look at you like
Yeah,
you're crazy,
yeah.
right?
Go and get your money out of the bank and
Right.
buy crypto with it. What's
It's
wrong
not
with
gonna
you, guy?
happen. It's not
Yeah.
gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Well,
All right,
you can try to trade with your neighbor using oranges and lighters, but
barter.
pretty
Right.
soon your oranges are gonna go bad, and your neighbor has his pockets full of lighters. And what are you gonna do then? It's always good to have some form of some medium of trade that you can use with anybody.
Right.
That's why
But
you
that's
need
that's the
crypto.
point of money. That's the point of money.
Yeah,
Right. And that's why it's kind of hard for people to wrap their head around it, because it's like they don't get it. They just think it's some government thing, and it's not.
yeah, yeah. It's
Anyways,
a
real
you and
quick.
me thing.
Yeah, it's a you and me thing. Staking length is at 6.82 years at 6.83. And of course, again, big stakes coming in, they're gonna shrink that time, big stakes getting out. They're gonna give us a normalized timeline. And that's all we're seeing here. Because if you draw a line on these dots, like through them, like a trend line, you're gonna just see that it's gonna basically just be the straight 45-degree line.
Yeah.
Here we got the change in holders since the inception of what is this? This is from the bear market. I'm gonna change this eventually because this is already over anyway. But this is from the start of the bear market to now. We've accrued almost 80,000 new holders, and as you guys can see, that kind of went parabolic after the bottom, and then with the start of PulseChain talk and all of that has gone crazy. But not so much for the staker count. And I've been warning you guys about that, and we kind of saw it reflected in the price recently with the move from 12 cents down all the way to 6. So that's 100%, right? If you bought at 12, you just saw all your shit go down to 50% loss.
Mm.
So this is what happens when you don't understand what's going on under the hood. Um, yeah, 61,000 stakers from the bear market to now. I mean, that's pretty huge, taking all things into consideration. And now overall, we're at 120,000 stakers. I got a chart for that, so we'll get to that in a minute. But this is a change in holders. And this chart is showing change of holders is on the left side, and you'll see that this is giving us the rate of change on a daily basis. And as you guys can see, the top, you can see that capitulation, right? I mean, a big old spike like that. I mean, you have one, then a little, then another one, and then that was all she wrote. Price kind of collapsed from there. Um, and today, what is it doing? We'll take a look at the chart. It's 9.2 cents. It looks like we're recovering solid now, but we'll see. But what you don't see is that growth in the stake account, and that's sad because that's really the goal. That's how people are really going to find that independence. But I understand, it takes time. So hopefully
Yeah,
this
it takes.
converts.
Yeah,
Go ahead, bro.
people need to be around for a bit to see
Yeah,
what
yeah. It took
other
me some time
people
to
are
figure it out.
doing,
I'm
how
not gonna
they,
act like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna act like it's
do they
instant.
perceive this? Yeah, do they perceive it as risky, like other hexagons? Do they stake and stuff? Once you
Right,
realize
right.
that everybody who's in it for the long term
Yeah, like
is
it's a
pretty
sin
much
not to be
stake.
staked type shit.
Yeah, it's gonna make it easier for start digging their toe in and see how the water is.
You chopping up, bro. Bad, like real bad.
Oh, I I I just said that it's just a matter of time when people start dipping their toes in and realize that it's actually not risky at all. Nobody can come and fuck your stakes up for you. You're gonna have to do it yourself if you want to. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Um, yeah. It's just one of those things. You have to really be just understanding. I don't know, man. That's why you got to really do the work. Try to understand what you're involved in. Because I remember when I first got into crypto, I didn't really understand. I tried to, but it was hard because it's not like that information is just out there, right? It's just not out there for you to take advantage of and hold on to it and this and that. Um, so sometimes some things take more time than you would like it to, but you gotta keep plugging along. So entire history, we've gotten past 120,000 stakers finally. It took a while because again, as we can see here, that stake account really hasn't grown like that. We've lost 35,000 in the process, which is fine because that means we're 4x on top of that, right? So that's perfectly okay. Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna see people change parts, like big positions, sell their bags to smaller bags, and those guys are gonna be staked, and they're gonna
right.
hang out with us for as long as they want to. And I think a bear market is kind of the natural place where you would expect some people to exit and new people to come in, especially the ones who sort of think for themselves and are not just lemmings following what everybody else does.
Right, which is hard. It's hard to do that,
Oh, for sure, yeah.
you know. Uh, Cause you kind of don't know when you're new, and when you're new, whew, it's a mountain. It's a mountain you gotta climb. I remember when I first got into this, man. I had no idea. You could even short stocks. Like I just didn't know. When you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah,
It's
and
really,
you
really
you don't
simple.
know what you don't know, which
Right, and
means
you
that
don't know.
who people who know the least consider themselves the smartest
Right, and
because
that's
they don't
typical.
know enough. They don't know enough to understand that they pretty much know nothing.
Right, which is
Yeah.
the funny thing, because it's how do you get to that point? and it's by
Yeah.
not
Like talk
trying to
to any
stay
high
ignorant.
schooler.
Yeah, they think they know everything,
Talk to
right?
any high schooler. They
Yeah.
have fucking they can solve all the world's crises in
Yep. Because
while
we
they're
all thought
taking
the
a dump.
same. We all
Yeah.
thought the same. You know. All right. So check this out. This is liquidity pools, right? So I'm tracking the main pools: Hex, USDC, and ETH. That's it. I'm not tracking versus Hadron and anything else. I'm just pulling this data from Hex Daily Stats. Is just what they got, and it's the easiest. So that's what I'm pulling. Sorry. Well, what you'll note is that as we ran to the top, um, the USDC count shrunk. Right as we ran to the top, that USDC count shrunk. The portion of Hex grew, and the portion of ETH shrunk. Now, that's how you kind of saw the top was there, right? Because how can price continue to run when there's so much quantity of Hex in the pool? That's essentially a wall,
Mm.
right? And that's what stops price. This chart is a ratio of the buy pressure for Hex versus USDC and ETH. Now, they're opposite of each other. So what that means is when Hex is going up in value, the bottom, the yellow line or green, whatever it is for you,
Looks
um,
green. Yeah.
looks green. Okay, cool. Should go up also if price is going up, and the red one should be going down if price is going up, because it's a ratio of these, which is already a ratio. So the point is to gauge the pressure, right? And as you guys can see, as price grinded higher, I mean, the liquidity pools were stressed the whole entire time. This is what this is showing because the pressure of buying Hex versus ETH and buying Hex versus USDC was at such a point that it was redlining this whole time. This is essentially what this is because you've never seen this before. And then the last time you saw anything even remotely close to this was here. And what happened? Price topped. Here. And what happened? Price topped. Here came close. And what happened? Price topped. And the same thing here, right? You get kind of a meeting of the colors, so to speak, and the price tops. And that's kind of what this chart is for.
This is
So,
interesting. We're gonna have to keep an eye on this in the future.
yep. I mean, these are things you gotta, you know, precisely keep an eye on in the future.
Yeah, yeah,
This is important. This is the under the hood
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. One interesting thing that I saw. I was watching Hexfire Hexfire.io channel on YouTube, Chris Man's channel, and he crunched some quick numbers that if you bought all the hex from all the pools without giving any two thoughts about what the price will do, but if you buy all of it, there was like 150 million or something. You can and stake all of it for over 10 years. You only get 13,000 T shares. So
Okay.
that's like a shark position.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
And
all
that's
that is
just
up for grabs. There isn't that
correct.
much. Yeah, there isn't
Nope.
that much to be had.
That's the beautiful. That's the beauty behind Hadron that people do not understand. Hint, hint. So yeah, actual minted inflation. So Hex has been around after Big Payday, right? It's been over 2 years. Now, if we take that time and normalize it for 3.69% APY, we're going to get a number that's greater than the actual minted inflation. And it's greater than it by more than 25%. Now, let me see. Can you guys see that? Yeah, let's go to Wolfram.
Yeah.
All right. So 3.69. How many days has it been? What is this? 12, 10, 357. Let's do that. 853. 53 divided by 365 is going to give us 2.33333, blah, 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 blah. So the 3.4 times 3.69. So that is what the minted inflation should be. Should be 8.63%, but it is in reality 6.27%. So Hex is actually deflationary already. And nobody has a freaking clue. They're talking about all the coins still.
Mm.
Not realizing that soon all the coins aren't going to be all the coins. I mean, but this is the problem, right? And it's a 30%. Wow, 38% reduction. The first time I did this check, it was 20 something percent. It wasn't even greater than 25%. So this is drastic. With every day that passes, that gap is getting wider and wider. And what that means is that puts serious buying pressure on Hex long term.
Yeah,
No doubt
yeah. If you
about it.
want the t-shirts, if
If
you
you
want
want
the
the t-shirts,
t-shirts,
that's
you're
right.
gonna have to spend the money. Yeah,
That's right.
I've
That's
noticed
exactly
it.
what the chart is showing.
I've noticed it doing restakes. Like now that I end a stake, it's every time it's more than 1200 days old, and I
Hmm.
only restake for Quattro Cinco, and it doesn't triple your t-shares like it used to.
Nope, it's less than that.
Not
It's two
even
something.
close. Yeah, not even close. You get like twice and twice and change
Mm,
uh, for the t-shares if you stake all of it.
right.
So it's already the hockey stick is pointing up when it comes to the t-share price. It's already starting to make headway that we're never gonna catch up.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So good luck. So
Yeah.
in red, we got the regular payout per T-share, right? 6.458 from yesterday. The green line is the penalty per T-share. You don't get to see that one often. And yesterday that was only 0.05 hex, so not even one whole hex. So like I said before, it's not every day that we get a nice hefty gift, but when we do, sometimes it's sizable, right?
Yeah.
And this is what we see here in this scale on the right hand side. If you guys want to get a gauge as to what these spikes are in value, it typically ranges 7.5, right? This 17.5 was an outlier, um, but we get gifts from time to time. And just so you understand, this is the share that we receive. So this is taken out with the OA we get, just so you
Mm.
guys understand that.
So that's like half of what is actually paid out. The other half
Correct,
goes to the OA. OA.
correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, good times for us as always.
It's
And
gonna
this
be
white,
interesting.
go ahead.
No, no, no. Go on, go on. I was just
Uh,
thinking what the white thing
this
is.
white line is the T-shirt, the payout per T-shirt without the penalty, basically.
Mm. Yeah.
So
Okay. So
it's
it takes out the
deflationary
outliers.
already. Yeah, it's deflationary already, and this is essentially the inverse of the T-shirt count. If you think about it, right?
Mm.
Let's go back to that. Where the hell is it? All right, it's all right. We got a chart coming right up that shows it. Boom. This is it in red, right? When we go back to the white, it's just the inverse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally just the inverse. Ain't it crazy? And the
That
more
is
expensive
fucking
it
wild.
gets, the higher this is gonna go. And I mean, let's think about this. For a long time, we were at over here 5.9. You know, and we were happy about that shit, and we were
Yeah.
happy
Yeah.
about
That felt like.
5.7.
Yeah,
Huh?
5.9 felt like a lot at the time
Mm-hmm.
when it came in. I
Precisely.
wonder if the next bear market or bull market is gonna uh, sort of appear in a similar sense, where all of a sudden there's a lot more hex minted and then staked again, and because of the new fresh hex in the market, that's gonna increase the payout because it's a percentage of all the shares.
Well, the less T shares, the higher the payout by default. So that
Hmm.
right there is the main factor. Whatever causes people to get T shares or not is the other factor. So this chart's my baby. Rate changes. Now, for the longest time, people will be, making these claims that are just not true about what gets a T-share rate to move. Here's evidence. During the bear market, because this is showing from the bear market to now, the start of it. This, the line in blue is the stake text in percentage terms. The line in red is the stake text in numeric, or just in counting terms, the counting number terms. And the white line is just the T-share rate increase. So what this is going to show is what is actually impacting the rate increases, right? Is it short stakes? Is it long stakes? Is it not? Whatever. Now, the presumption is if you're seeing staking activity that's short, right? This is covering 500 days. A short stake, we're talking, 90 days or less. So if we can't see it in this chart, then it don't exist. That's the presumption. Is that
Hmm.
fair one,
Yeah,
Finber?
yeah,
Right?
yeah. In terms of ratcheting up the T-share price, it doesn't
That's right.
almost nothing. Yeah,
Correct. That's right. So if we look at the staked hex and staked percent, hold on. Fuck.
that sounded like a fire engine. It kind of puts you in a mood like you're in Paris, France. Everything's on fire over there. That
Yeah,
place is
I was
fucked
just
up.
about to go there where I hope we don't get to the point where we go back in time that far where everything is on fire. Cause damn, I don't want to have to live like that again.
Yeah, yeah,
Like we got internet, bro. Can we not do that? Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
like the
I
internet.
yeah, I like it a lot, man. Or
Yeah,
make
like we live
everything
off that shit.
wireless. Then it's just fine. I'll move move out of the city and fucking
Yeah,
you
it's gonna be
burn it.
crazy,
As long
bro,
as
if
I
it
got my
goes that
Wi-Fi.
far. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy if it goes that far because it's bad. Like it's
Yeah,
bad. Like yo, I'm telling you, man. I was in the store the other day, and in a Walgreens of all places. I never go to a Walgreens. Rare. And of course, as I'm walking in, somebody's walking out with some shit, and then the guy that works there is walking out after him. I'm like, oh come on, man, just let the dude go because you don't want that smoke. Why you want to act like you're gonna play Captain Save the Store?
yeah. They're not gonna give you a fucking medal if
You're
the
not
dude
getting
shoots you or
shit.
something.
Mind
Yeah,
your business and keep it moving, man. Why the fuck you want to
yeah,
die over a fucking $20
yeah.
if that item? So
Hey,
ridiculous.
did you pay for that steak? And then you get fucking
It
stabbed in
wasn't.
the
It was a
face or something. That's
Walgreens.
stupid.
That's like a pharmacy store. There's not even steak there.
Ah.
Yeah, it's not even worth it.
So
Whatever's
what
in
were they
there to
getting?
do.
Like getting fucking plasters and shit.
I can't
I
remember
need
what the hell
something
it
to
was, but it was the dumbest
disinfect.
thing. The guy said it too, like he stole some nonsense. I can't remember what it was. Ah,
Maybe he was
I can't remember. It was
somebody,
it's like an extension cord or
somebody
something
high
dumb
off.
like that,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
You
Somebody
know what I'm
high off
saying?
their
Something
tits.
dumb like that.
Yeah, somebody who's just high off their tits, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna
Yo, could
steal
have been.
something from a pharmacy. It's gonna be
Yeah, I thought it
expensive
was
because
that.
it's drug related."
Yeah, it was. It probably was some junkie. I didn't look at the guy. I was just walking in, so I wasn't paying no mind. But yeah, it was funny. Anyway, let's get back to this. So as you see all these stakes coming out, what do you see? Interest rate, T-share rate going up. That's what these
Yeah,
spikes are, right? This is a T-share rate going up. Each spike is a T-share rate going up. And Interestingly enough, you get uh, a big spike up in stakes here, right, during this period from like day 760 on through like day
Mm.
810, something like that. But you get one more spike, right? You get another spike again, and these spikes again are stakes ending, right? So
Yeah.
what we're getting from this slice alone, we're getting a couple things. First thing is that it doesn't necessarily have to be a big stake ending to move the t-shirt rate, because we don't see a lot of action as far as when these stakes are ending, as far as the rate, or I'm sorry, as far as the staked hex change, right? Like this is just all going down the whole time. The only time it's a big
Yeah.
change is here, really, and then sometimes here. But these stakes ending are all independent of
They
these
still ratchet
moves.
the T-share price up because the system checks that if you restake everything for the same duration, you can't get as many T-shares as earlier. So you can end stake like 100 hex stake and ratchet up the T-share price if you have enough days behind you when you're ending your stake.
Right. And the whole point is that looking at the
That's why
staking
we see
activity.
the line going down, like the staked hex is going down, but you still see increases in the T-share price. That's like, to me, that is like an explanation to it.
Correct. That's exactly the point,
Yeah,
right? Because why would it? Why would the t-shirt rate go up as stakes are going down and then up? It would be either or. It wouldn't be both.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
basically the short of it,
Yeah,
right?
I know for a fact that I've bumped it up a couple of times when I've ended my stakes, but only like under 20 hex or something
Hmm.
when that's happened.
Right. Yeah, because now you need a lot
And
more hex to
my
move
my
that bad boy.
stakes, yeah, yeah, my hex bags aren't that big, but it's still difficult to compete with me because they're really long ones. They're like maximum length every time they end. So you're gonna have to put up a lot of hex to make the same yield and
Yep.
compete with the stake, which is that old.
Yep. Yep. So again, I mean, the last big ratchet up we had just so happened to be related to this stake that was made. 45-day stake, 2.2 billion. Everybody was knew about it. Everybody was waiting for it. Yada yada. We got a sizable increase here after the stake was made. And then when after the stake ended, it only ratcheted up a t-shirt at 80 hex. And then after that, right, we can see the stake had come out. Right. And then after that, the t-shirt rate went up 600 hex. After.
Mm, yeah, yeah,
After. Then somebody else
yeah.
came in and staked like 3.2 billion hex, whatever. And then it went out. It was like a 30-day stake. And then it's out. And nothing's happened since. Like no rate increases. So again, that's just further proof, further evidence to the fact that it's time and not size that increases the t-shirt rate. I wrote something about that on my Substack, so y'all check that out.
So you have a Substack,
Yep.
dude. I gotta get active on it. There's a lot of really interesting people besides you over there.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to like. Is it a subscription service or can you just read
Nah, it's free
everything?
for now. I got free shit for now. It's all
Cool.
free for now. Yeah, yeah. I'll probably do something paid
Free
eventually.
shit is good. I can afford free shit.
Free stuff is good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not
Free
gonna lie,
stuff is
man.
good stuff.
I'm pretty fucking flushed. Like all my money is in crypto.
Let's see. What's this Substack thing at? Let's see. I don't even know. I don't even. Is this the? Oh, there you go. Got the link in there for you guys. Boom. There's the link.
We're gonna start reading, guys. We're gonna
Oh
have
yeah, very cool.
homework. There's gonna be a test before the stream starts next time.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna have multiple choice, 20
This one
questions.
was a nice 3,000 word essay on how Hex works. And I mean, if you don't know how Hex works and why crypto is important and stuff like that, like read this. Like this is a good place to start. I mean, I even threw a chart in here that I hadn't done in a long time where it shows the performance of $1 invested in Hex since launch versus everything else. The T share clearly outpaced everything else. But if you wouldn't have staked, you would have still had your 38x versus 10 versus 2 for Bitcoin
That's sad. That's
and
really sad
Hex. Yes,
for
very sad.
Ethereum.
Yep, yep. Drop some equations on here for you. Some T share rate, where it's come from, where it's going, where it's gone. T share in dollar term. I mean, this is when it was a $600 cheaper. Now
Hmm.
it's what, $2,400. So
Yeah, yeah, and some change, 2428 or
yeah, some
something.
change, yeah. So don't wait, man. Get educated ASAP. I mean, I really broke down why crypto and the dollar and why it just doesn't matter and all this stuff. I mean, I'll also go over the alpha that the system gives us. The net payout is up here, and if it's flat at the top, that means 100% of it was all inflation rewards. And the pink line is the penalty impact.
Cool.
And the average is the red line for the penalty impact, and the average is the white line for the net payout. And long story short, that scales on the left side, and it's 95 or 96 and 4% basically. So you got 4% alpha just for being staked in Hex, and then on top of that, over time, it's a self increasing payout. I mean, it's just because people exit the system, can't restake for longer, et cetera, et cetera. And this is why being staked for the longest period of time, being 15 years, is so crucial. You really need to understand the significance of that and make that, make one of your priorities if you're young, being staked for as long as possible, because it's like being a holder of Bitcoin and not touching it for a long period of time. I mean, if you had
Yeah,
10,000 Bitcoin from 2010 and you didn't touch it for until now, do the math,
you'd
right?
be a
You'd be happy
happy,
you did
you'd be
that.
a happy camper, as they say.
Correct. That's right.
Imagine,
And that's a whole premise of Hex.
imagine, imagine Bitcoin had this change in its code that when you set up your miner, it sort of locks in the difficulty at the moment you start mining, and it continues mining with that difficulty and that payout for as long as you keep the miner running. Imagine having a Bitcoin miner from 2011 still churning you freaking
Right.
25 or 50 Bitcoin every block that it completes.
Oh man, if
You'd
only.
like to hold it. You'd still like to hold it. You probably wouldn't want to sell it. Now's your
Probably not.
situation. Now's the chance when you can create your own hex miner and have it mine hex for you for the following 15 years at the best rate that you're ever gonna have, because nobody's ever gonna, once this day is over, it's only gonna get more expensive in hex terms.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing, right? That's the caveat. Like, it's hard for people to wrap their head around the significance of that, but that's really it. Like, you got to get that. That's it. That's everything.
Hmm,
All right. So this chart, this green line, is it green or yellow? What color do you see?
that's green.
All right. So
Yeah,
this chart is showing us this line here, this green line, is the T share market cap versus the Hex market cap, which is this scale over here on the left hand side. So essentially, we're 46% of the T share market cap value versus the entire Hex market cap value. Now, why is that? Well, only 10% of the Hex is staked, right? 9.64 9.64% now. And that's why you see that it even dropped the percentage of that value, right? With the drop in the staked quantity of Hex. So
yeah. The 2
there you
billion
go.
hex that's missing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's not missing. It's just not staked. Because it's out
yeah.
there. Maybe if it was
Yeah, of
staked, it'd be
course,
missing.
not missing, but missing from the staked hex pool. That's
Right, right, right,
probably
right.
closer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So I guess the thing I want to highlight is, over time, this chart only goes one way. So if you're not staked, does it look like a smart decision? because the hex market cap is just losing this battle. Something to think about.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's gonna get worse and worse for the hex market cap.
Yep. Meaning destaked fool. All right. T-share market cap versus total value lock. Now, what's the difference? T-share market cap is literally taking the T-share count, multiplying it by their dollar value, which is, it's 2,400, whatever. Total value
Yeah.
locked is just the quantity of hex multiplied by the price of hex. The quantity of hex that's staked, which is 62 billion or something like that, multiplied by the price of that. So that's the difference. Now, why would it be looked at differently? Because people don't know what the hell a T-share is, and that's just too difficult of a concept for them to grasp outright. So total value locked, right?
Mm.
Um, so the important thing to grasp from this chart is that T-shares win once again, in this instance, by a factor of 4. Because if you look at the left-hand scale, it's not 0.4 like it was in the last chart. It's 4 point. So that's a 10x difference to the upside in our favor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to be staked, folks. I mean, the math is just fucking pointing it out to you. I don't know how else to put it. It's one of those things. Staked hex per T-share. Now, this is a function. It's literally what it sounds like. Taking the quantity of hex and dividing it by the number of T-shares. And it just so happens that since we're at 10 million T-shares, right? And we are at 62.5 billion hex staked, right? Simple
Mm.
math dictates that it's around 6,270 hex. So this is what we're seeing here. And as you guys can see, the amount of hex stake does play a factor in this. So more people staking means more stake hex per T-share, which leads to a few factors, right? It leads to a couple of things. When you sit there and think about, like, why does this number matter? First of all, the increased difficulty of attaining a T share is beneficial to those that are already in the pool, because it creates that natural barrier to entry that you can't erect, because the system and time are doing it for you, because you don't even have to put any
Mm.
other capital up for the system to do that, right? So what this is
Also,
showing, go ahead, brother.
also it creates a disincentive for you to exit the system,
Oh, 100%.
because
Yeah,
once
that's
you
it.
leave, those bridges they're burned. You're never
Yep,
coming back.
yep. It's a wrap.
Like good luck selling like a 10 T share stake that you end, and you sell it now,
Right.
thinking that you sometime in the future be able to buy it back. I don't really struggle to see how that could happen.
Yeah. Again, Hadron comes to mind. Like,
Yeah, Hedron
people
helps. Yeah.
really, yeah, people really don't get it, and it's sad because they're gonna miss that boat. I don't know how many times I gotta allude to that one, but it'll be all right. So this chart, what the hell is going on here? So this chart is showing us the price of hex on the x-axis, which is rare. It's typically on the y. And what we're seeing is the evolution of these specific metrics on the y-axis over price. Now, if you sit here and think about it, each metric, price and current holders, which is what I'm tracking here, current stakers, which is what I'm tracking here, current staker change, which is what I'm tracking here, and current holders change, which is what I'm tracking up here. Each component is a function of time. So in a lot of ways, these are really 3D charts. And it proved to be the case because we saw when I first developed these charts around this point in time that this was in fact the bottom for Hex. Got streams detailing just that. So if you didn't catch it, sorry, but it's on record, And then this is what these charts are about, because they're showing you the interest at that specific point in time. That's why these color cells are different. Some are darker than others. That's not just because it's cute. Like, there's a meaning behind that. So you got to try to understand what these charts are saying. You got to think about what these data points are, because data is what tells you whether crypto is real or not what some random dude on YouTube is telling you. That shit never matters. Sorry. So staker retention. This value keeps going down. We keep losing stakers, and the staker count does not keep increasing at a pretty, at a decent rate. It just kind of lollygags, because it's hard people to get their head around it. But as you guys have seen, all the benefits to being staked. Like if this number goes down, our pay goes up. Because there's less people in this system. That's what this red line
Yeah,
means going down like that. And this
that's
line
that's that's
highlights just that.
amazing that
Hmm.
that's amazing that people still would rather choose to hold liquid
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they're
I don't get
so
that shit.
anxious, they're so eager to sell it at a pump. We have a lot of guys who don't yet understand how the staking mechanics work. That's probably why there's a lot of new bag holders who are not staked at all.
Right, 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 for
And
sure.
I wonder if this next cycle up is gonna be the type where we bring in a lot of new people who very few of them actually stake, but we bring in a shitload of like liquid hex holders
Right.
who then just end up selling their bags too soon. And maybe
Yeah,
the third
always.
maybe the third cycle is the type of a cycle where some of them come back slowly and realize that they should have been staked all along, or we get the yet another fresh helping of like new people who understand that they don't want to be the guys like the guys in the second cycle who sold too early, and and
Right, right.
and they
Well,
realize that
those
it's
people are gonna exist,
in
so
their best interest to stake.
yeah, those people are gonna exist. So yeah, be sure you're not one of those people. Is what Finn Bear is trying to say.
Mhm. Take at least what it takes for you to go out for like good evening with the lads and stake it out for 15 years, because you're not gonna miss the money, but what you're gonna miss is the fact that you don't have the t-shirt that you would
Yep,
have if you had been staked. And
for
that's not
sure.
so much that it's never gonna ruin you if you happen to lose that 100 or $200.
Right. So check it out. In case those of you guys forgot, it's important to remember that the lowest band on the ROI or on the APY is 5.68. So you got to remember that 35% of the hex is gone forever for the sacks.
Oh
So
yeah, it's been sacrificed.
that's right.
Oh
That's right.
man, I like this chart so much better now
Yeah.
than
That's why I never get
before,
rid of it, even though
because
it's old as F.
I was worried. I was worried about the small percentages. Like
Oh, not
that.
me.
If like what if we go down to something like 4%?
Yo,
How
and think
cool is
about
that gonna be?
all the
Yeah.
lost keys.
Mm.
So it's really higher than 65%.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, lower, lower, lower. Sorry. So that means that APY is really higher than 5.68. It's probably like really probably like 7. It's probably really like
Mm.
8 when you really think about it. People are gonna die. All this crazy shit is gonna happen between now and the end of these 15 years.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So that floor with the passage of time is actually gonna increase over time. Yeah. So get in where you fit
Gosh
in.
damn. Yeah.
Ain't
Exactly.
that a bitch? All right,
God
let's look at
damn it.
these hex charts, bro. I haven't looked at it in a while. Let's see. Let me wrap this shit up soon.
This was a special day. I knew it when I woke up in the morning that this is gonna be good. I didn't know I was gonna be streaming with Wales only, but I'll take it.
You stupid.
I'll take it, man.
All
I need
right,
to
so
go
let's
and
see
get a
what's
few
going on
beers or
here.
something and start warming up the sauna and see if Pulse is gonna come out tomorrow. You never know.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's close, isn't it? It's real close. It's closer now than we've ever
It's
been.
so close. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
So
like, I don't want to get you guys too hyped up about tomorrow, but the way I read the Richard's tweet about how every day feels like April Fool's Day. Do you remember he said at one of his streams that he's not gonna release on April 1st because he hates April Fool's Day and he doesn't
mhm.
want to have his message mixed with all the idiots making all kinds of April Fool shit.
Do
But
not blame him. I'm not a fan either.
What if he's so close to being ready that he could do it today, he could do it tomorrow, but he still has to wait a couple of days just to get over the fucking April Fool's thing?
Yeah, so be it.
I don't know. Fan fiction. Don't put too much into it, guys.
Yeah, it'll be
That's
ready
just
when
my
it's ready, man.
yeah, yeah.
I think we waited long enough. So what's another couple weeks, couple months, whatever have you.
That's true. That's true. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I can go for a couple of more months. Easy. We're
I'm sure.
Hexagons are so used to waiting.
Yeah,
We've
delaying
been doing it
gratification
since
is waiting.
yeah,
That's what that
yeah. We've
means.
been doing it since 2018, I think.
Delaying gratification is that, just in case anybody's confused.
Yeah,
Is waiting. Is waiting.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
I'm being
So
bored.
yes, correct.
Yeah.
Constantly bored. That's the whole point. Ooh, Charles shite. All right, here we go. So this
All
is the
right.
daily chart. And it's looking really good because now we're just hovering above that mid band, and that's how you know you're in a bull market. We've talked about it long enough. I know you guys probably forgotten by now because we were in a bear market for so long, but that's what it looks like when we're in a bear market. Price just keeps bouncing off that mid band. So anytime you see price hitting that on a daily, that's probably a good indication that you might want to consider copping you some HEX, and then staking that bad boy for the long term so you don't get played like all them short term stakers. You know what I'm saying? Don't play
Yeah.
yourself.
Or liquid bag holders.
Yeah, they get played. Let's see what Hadron and
In
Icosa are
particular,
doing.
like your emotions are being fucked with if you hold only liquid hex. Somebody with a big bag can come and absolutely fuck your week up.
Yeah, and it's funny. The longer you stick around, the more you realize the only people that really care about price are those that are liquid.
Yeah, that's true. The ones
Yeah,
who are looking to exit any minute now.
that's right.
Yeah.
Am I gonna let my investment go down? F that. Yeah, you sure. Good luck with that strategy. Yeah. So Hadron's looking pretty strong. It's just another functional part of our ecosystem that is there to give you access to the best asset on the planet. So, you should be taking advantage of it because right now it's at $2.80 per million coins. At one point, it was 20 cents per million coins. So you do the
Oh my
math on
god,
that.
man. Oh
Hmm.
my god, man.
That's right.
You must have some really grateful friends over there at your neck of the woods.
Well, sometimes, people get rewarded when they listen. It happens.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Yeah, I
things.
remember you
Beautiful
said
things.
that you can get like a whale position in Hedron for something like $400 or something.
Yeah, I couldn't even remember the number, man, but it was something ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You're getting a million
yeah.
at 20
You could
cents.
get billions and billions. Yeah,
Yeah,
you could get billions and billions
exactly.
and
It's
billions.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Icos are doing what it does. Now, it's important for people to remember that this is a stable coin. Now, what that means is that it's stabilized to something. It doesn't necessarily mean that it stays at one price. So I think it's important that people understand that because that's exactly what's going on here. This is tied to the price of Hex and the T-share rate. So, if the price of Hex go down, this will go down. If the T-share rate goes up, this will go up a little bit. And that's kind of how this works. Both go up at the same time. It's a party. Yada yada.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And if you like the Icosa yield, the
oh, I love it.
Watsa yield is fucking 3 times higher.
I love it all. Give me
Yeah,
some more.
yeah. those
You know?
watches are fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
They're
thing, man.
like, yeah. Too bad nobody can get them.
That's the point. He who stands the longest,
Yeah,
wins the most.
yeah. He who keeps his hand on the car for for the longest.
Yep, yep, that's right. All right, so what's going on here? Let's get rid of all this crazy shit.
What's all this,
All
man?
right. So,
This
looks like
looks
the
like
market.
this looks like the mind of a crazy person. What's going on, man?
Nah, just angles. The market follows these lines, bro. I don't know why. It just does. I mean, look at this. Right? I don't gotta make it up. This is
That's 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 fucking crazy.
yeah, right. I see it. I don't know how, but this is there. Right? And then if you boom, and then look at what price did, it just went higher.
Yeah.
Right?
So
And
do you
then
think
then
it's in? Is it gonna travel within the band over there at 4130?
I mean it just seems like it's
Use.
getting squeezed higher. That's what it seems like to me. Cause look,
Yeah.
it's just careening, and what that means is like moving like a pinball through these little
Yeah.
alleyways, and it looked like it was gonna take this bear mode, and then all of a sudden it just reversed.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it sort of jumped into higher gear.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like. And these are daily bars, right? Like we're not looking at
So
um
that's not
a smaller time
random loss.
frame. This is
Yeah.
just on a daily, right? And there's some other tools that I use. I don't know if you guys are even understand any of this shit.
Now this is pretty high level shit. I can pretend to understand, but if I speak anymore, people will realize I don't. So you
You stupid.
you go ahead, man. Yeah. Yeah, I
So
know, but at least I don't pretend to be smarter than I am.
you retard. So let me just show you guys. Let me just so it was interesting about the markets and how they work is that derivatives play a big role, right? And Richard put out a tweet. Hold on.
Hold on.
Pause.
Shit, I shouldn't have
We're all just waiting
said
to retire,
anything, man.
aren't we? Nope. Nothing important. Just something about Bitcoin.
Yeah. Not that quick to retire though, but I will get the fuck out of the country as soon as I can.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah. But yeah, quit working.
Yeah,
Yeah,
quit working for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Quit working for sure.
I just shared a funny meme in the Hex Guild chat where it was like a make believe job interview, and the question was, "What's your dream profession or what's your dream job?" And the dude answers, "Dude, in my dreams, I don't fucking work.
Like, duh.
I got other shit to do. Like if
Correct.
you imagine what would you do if you won the lottery? What the fuck does that have to do with your profession or your job in the first
Yeah,
place?
for
You
most
probably
people,
do
nothing.
something completely different. Yeah,
Correct. Yeah, and but that's how you know they're doing the wrong thing in the first place, and they need to just change now. Like, if you find yourself in that position, you should do your damnedest to make that change now. You shouldn't live a miserable life because that's what it becomes. It
yeah,
becomes miserable life. Who wants to live like that? I don't get
exactly.
that. Yeah, I don't know why people put
Yeah.
themselves through that.
All right,
It's
I'm
not
gonna
worth it.
mute myself for a couple of minutes. Uh,
Peace.
go ahead because I'm always interrupting you. So
All
at
right,
least
no problem.
5 minutes. It's all you, man.
Knock yourself out. Thank you for giving me the floor back. All right,
Your
so
floor.
yeah, my floor, my floor, my floor. So as I was saying a little bit a while ago, the interesting thing about markets is as you see them moving, right? The question is always, well, what's causing them to move, right? And we all are used to thinking it's about the news and blah blah blah. The usual stuff that we're told to think. But as always, newsflash, not true, not the case. Um, and I can show you guys eventually, once I feel comfortable enough to show you. But you guys got to learn a few things before you even get to that point where it could even be shown. Because you got to understand how derivatives impact uh, the actual underlying markets, because they do, right? There's a reason that everybody frets about them. They say what they say, oh, derivatives this, derivatives that. But, they're a double-edged sword like everything else. You eat enough bananas, they're going to kill you too. So everything is good and bad. And I think that that's kind of one of the things about finance that you learn when you learn capital markets and how things work and why these instruments exist and all this and all that. So we see that the market's been ripping, and the question is why, right? And typically, as people are buying into risk, that could come in the form of two ways: they're buying stock or they're buying options, right? And not just necessarily stock, but futures or whatever have you. And the idea is that if you, a customer, are buying that stock, somebody has to sell it to you, right? And typically that somebody is a dealer. And what that word means is somebody that's set up to make a market. Like, that's their business. That's what they do. Now, when they do that, they're taking the opposite of your trade by default. Okay. So if you're buying a stock, or if you're buying a call, or if you're buying a put, or if you're buying a future, whatever. Well, actually, not future. Future's a bad example. So disregard that. But stock or option, right? Or the call or a put, somebody has to sell it to you, right? Somebody has to sell it to you. And that's important to really wrap your head around, right? Because, you know, if you're buying it, the only way you can get it is by somebody selling it to you. Otherwise, there is no market. Now, it might sound trite or trivial, but a lot of people really don't respect that enough. Now, when did I first learn this? I first learned this when I was coming up learning the game way back in 2008, when I didn't even know anything. And I eventually realized what it was that happened. And people had on these positions that while they were winning, they couldn't close them out because there was nobody on the other side of the trade to take the position away from them. So they couldn't book the profits. They just had to let it ride, and it either rode to zero or zero. If there was nobody there to take the other side, well, that market was no longer functional, right? So imagine that. That's crazy. And this is what we get sometimes when we don't understand what counterparty risk means. But long story short, it seems like we're entering a bull market, maybe. If we keep sliding back higher, it looks like we're going to poke our heads higher here. Um, let's see. This is 140 hourly chart, 55 minutes per bar. And I mean, we just keep, you know, plugging along higher. Volatility is dropping. This is what these lines down here are showing you. This is a function of volatility down here. We can talk about that at some point in the future. But again, RSI band, MACD, positive, right? This is on the hourly. Let's go up to 4 hours approximately. Again, let me get rid of this. Maybe I can get rid of these lines. Session breaks. Yeah. So again, this is a 4 hour per candle. Let's just get rid of these candles and make it a clearer picture with the line. And of course, it's more obvious now the trend is just higher, right? And that's kind of what you want to get used to. You want to get used to identifying the proper trend. so that you're picking the right side of the market. You don't want to get caught slipping, going short when you should be going long, because that's too easy. Let's go back to candles, because candles are useful, but they can screw you over too, right? Just like anything else. Now, it'll be points in time where, yeah, it's time to get short if you're playing a short term game. But if you're playing a long term game, right, where you don't want to get wiped out by trying to go short for a move to 38.33 from 4,000, and it only goes down to 39.40, and then you just lose it all, and now it's at 41.20, then what? Right? Why didn't you take them 100 points? Why'd you wait for you to be short 100 points? It's things like that blows people's accounts up, because they think they just know, oh, it's just gonna come back, it's gonna come back. Like, nah, you gotta just cut that loss, man. And it's so easy, because once this channel candle occurred, that should have been obvious that it was game over. But for some of us, we don't want to see that. I mean, these Bollinger Bands are very important. They play a big role in markets for a reason, and in market analysis for a reason. But anyways, so yeah, it looks like the market's squeezing higher for now. As long as that's occurring, you got to really get the hell out the way until it really gives you a sign that it's no longer going to do that. But for now, that is what it's doing, right? So you got to respect that. You got to stay out the way, because the tone has not been negative pretty much for the entirety of the first part of the year. I mean, the quarter just ends today. Let's see here. Are we up for the year? Let's take a look. I'm not sure. We are up for the year. So this is the start. We are up 5% on the year to date. 6%
Whippy.
almost. Yeah, yeah, right.
Doesn't seem like that big of a number if you're used to
Yeah,
like
because it's
crypto
not.
numbers. Yeah,
It's not. Yeah. Tech is
not
up
i-
18%,
not i-
19%.
not in an environment where you have like 20% inflation month over month.
No,
five
yeah, not at
percent a
all.
year feels pretty bad.
No. Small caps are even worse. Look at this. Not even 1%, half a percent.
Yeah, small
So,
caps are getting fucked because the central bank keeps buying a list of really high cap stocks to prop
yep,
the entire market up. So they buy
correct.
Coca
They're picking
Cola and
winners. They're
yeah,
picking winners and losers, basically.
yeah.
I mean, that's where we're at.
I was watching Mano Reno the other day, and he had a list. He gave his viewers a list. They're buying these stocks now and selling everything else.
Yep. I mean, you can
Yeah,
see it. Here's what is this? The regional banking, I think that's what this is. Let me see. This is just a regular bank ETF. I mean, look at this. This is just setting up for a fall. The way I play these is I like to wait for price to run into the moving average. So not quite yet ready for a short play here.
would you sell at that point?
Right. I would go
Yeah,
on looking for a short position once it hit the moving average. Not
yeah,
not
yeah.
quite yet. I mean, oh, hold on. This is down 15% though, year to date. Is this year to date? Hold on, let me make sure I got that right. 19% year to date.
Oh shit, man.
Yeah. So these are the banks. Let me see what this is. This is insurance. Um, 5% down. Regional banks are down 25%.
But
So
doesn't it feel good, guys, that that weekend at Bernie's came on TV and said that the banking system is sound and safe?
yeah, that
He
was
meant every word of it. The banking system is safe. It's us regular guys that are gonna be fucked soon.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but they're making sure
Pretty
that the
much.
banking system, quote unquote, system is safe. They're gonna be
That's right.
golden once
Just
this
not
thing
for
is
you.
over.
It's safe, just not for you. Well, let's check out this internet ETF. Let's see what this internet ETF is doing. Now, this is, I guess, an amalgamation of internet stocks. That's what I would guess. And wow, this is really setting up for what I would consider a nice bull move higher. Now, let's take a look at a longer time frame. 8 days per candle. Yeah, this is really setting up for a big move higher. Damn.
where do you see it going higher? Like what
What
broke
makes me think
the
that?
trend? Yeah, what broke the trend in your view?
So okay, couple things. First thing is the MACD, right? Second thing is the RSI. Now, the interesting thing about laying it out like that is that it's important to understand that these two items get their posture from price. So while I might mention these first, it's because I understand what price is doing, right? Now, you see that price ran up hard, then hit a bull flag of some sort here, I know a long one, and then it just rolled over. And when it rolled over pretty hard. It's not like it was
Hmm.
a prolonged roll. You know what I mean? Let's take a look
No, you
at,
gave up everything from 2020, all the gains from 2020
yeah,
to 2021.
really quick.
You gave all of it back. Yeah,
Yeah, really quick. Now here we got 29 bars versus 34. Now, oh, I didn't get the, damn it. Yeah, so the drop wasn't as big, but the increase was bigger. The drop wasn't as big, but it took longer.
yeah.
Now, because it took longer, that lets me know that the move is basically exhausted. Now, what confirms it is this, because you have to remember this is all rates of change is what's being measured, and that's why I always say that you have to understand ratios, right? Because ratios are really just rates of change. That's it,
Mm,
and that's what these are measuring: rates of change. And if price is dropping, 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 dropping this whole time, and then all of a sudden it just does this big old whipsaw move, that's it. It's over. Because that means whoever was short is now no longer short because they got out.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's a big move to the upside from a downside move. Now, that means that for now, we're going to at least go sideways. And so far, it looks like the market's bottomed out because that's the structure we're seeing so far.
Do you
Right? When
think
we
do you
go ahead.
think a movement like this could be explained by the plunge protection team or something like that?
Nah.
That they just like they that they would just take out all the shorts so that they don't make money as the drop continues. Because like we see that in crypto all the time, and I was just wondering how in the traditional markets is there like that much money
So,
floating around that it
yeah,
would
yeah.
be
Hell yeah.
like so expensive to do that
Mhm.
nobody can afford it.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. It just
Yeah.
depends
Okay.
where and what market, right? Because most people they trade the spy. That's the easiest thing, right? Now look at what do you see here? It's set up for a bull run, isn't it? I mean, this is without all the extra crap that I usually have on here. Like
Yeah.
the extra crap is to give the market structure for myself. If you can't see that the market is moving higher with all this fancy shit, then you should stop what you're doing right now and start over. You
So
should
you
be able. It
shouldn't
should
be
be
trading.
obvious.
You shouldn't
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah,
trading. You should be staked.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Pretty much.
I'm perfectly happy stating that I'm probably too dumb to do shit like this for a living. Like this is
Well, it's not
because it.
easy.
Yeah, yeah. That's why most
So
people lose money
there's no
in
shame in it.
this.
There's no shame. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be. We're
I've
not
tried it.
wired to
I've
do this.
fucking tried. I've lost a lot of money trying to play the markets. So I
It
know
takes
how
time. It takes
quickly you can.
patience. It takes understanding that you're fucking up and coming to terms with how you're fucking up.
Yeah,
See, it's
yeah.
it's it's not cut and dry. Unfortunately, and they try to sell it to people as it is. It takes a lot, and we're not wired for it. But it's easy once you learn what's important, and you can build a discipline. Because this is the hard part, to only care about the important things. Because why are you buying up here when you got a whole bunch of shit telling you to buy down here, right? But people do that. But that's what people do. People do that, and then they want to sell for the long term when the chart on the long term is clearly bullish. Like, why would you do that? Why would you set yourself up for failure?
Yeah.
But that's what people do
Yeah.
because
Or even like if you succeed, you only get like a small portion of what you would have had if your
right,
timing was more
right,
precise. Yeah.
right, right. And then the thing about that is like you want to think that you're right, but that doesn't matter because you should be wanting to make this money. Yo, I spent a long time from here to here thinking I understood why the market should go short.
Oh
And what did
man.
it
Yeah.
do? What did it
Yeah.
do though?
It just
That
went
shit
up
kept
and up
going.
and up. Yeah.
Shit kept
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
10 years
And
later, it's still going.
yeah. At what point do you change your shorts for longs?
Correct.
Like after being short
Correct.
for fucking 2 years, you're like, "Ah, fuck it,
I
I'll
mean,
long it. I bet it's gonna go
talk
down. Not
about getting wrecked. Yo, imagine there's a lot of people in the market like that, son.
yeah.
Well,
Absolutely,
hell,
there
you just
is.
said you were
Yeah.
one of them. Welcome
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
club. You're not the only
I
one. There's a lot of us, right?
I have a lot of emails about my position getting liquidated. A lot. That's the NFT project that I I can do is I can make an NFT out of every liquidation email I have.
I mean, that's just the name of the game when you don't understand the bare minimum. And it's not hard, and that's what's hard about it. Does that
I
make
don't
sense?
even understand the fin bare minimum.
Check this out. Check this out. This is the aerospace and defense ETF.
Oh, that's a killer.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah,
Straight up and to the right, almost like Hex.
that's like a fucking war bond. That's gonna go up like a. That's gonna
This is
go up
crazy,
like a
isn't it?
motherfucker.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is what's going on, yo. People got to understand that. This is reality right here in your face, right?
This is also 10 years in the markets. If you don't, if you guys
Yep, this is 10
didn't
years
know this, it
about.
goes to like 2011 something.
Yeah, let's see what's the start here. Yep, September 2011. So there you
Yeah.
go. Let's see what's this one. XBI. I don't remember them like that. Biotech. Let's see what this biotech ETF looks like. Each candle is 8 days per each candle, just so everybody's aware. So this one again. Now you got to ask yourself, how do these charts always end up and to the right? That's something that's not obvious to the average person. Hell, it's not obvious to people in the business.
Yeah.
So never mind the average person. But it's really
But
simple.
it's obvious to everybody who listens to Richard Hart or streams like yours. They keep printing money like it's going out of style. That's why
That's one of
everything goes up and to the right.
that's one of the problems. It's a two-prong problem. That's one. The other prong is the fact that these ETFs are always going to survive off of, or they're always going to function off of selectorship bias, meaning when some stock stops working, they pull it out of the rotation and don't buy it anymore. And they just buy something else that's going up, and that's it, done.
Yeah.
So
Fixed it.
when it right, so when it looks like this, that means they can't find anything to fix it. So it's bad, right? And we see this in 2015 with China, 2019 again, 2018, 2019 with the rate stuff, also China related, liquidity related. Here's the Rona stuff, and this is the most recent 2022 bear market. Right? This is what they went through. So Ukraine didn't really help them out. You thought it would have, but it didn't. So I don't know what's up with
Yeah,
that.
that's funny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would have thought they get a pickup from Ukraine.
Right.
Maybe they already filled their storages with all the ammo and shit
Yeah, right.
before. And no, they actually they didn't. They're giving like Ukraine is getting like the second hand flea market shit from all the countries.
Yeah, even
Portugal sent
even
them.
the aerospace and defense ETF is getting no love. That was the biotech stock, and even with the Rona stuff, it didn't get any love. That's funny, right?
That's weird.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like how come they didn't benefit
Hmm.
from the Rona?
From
They
that,
fucking created it.
correct. You would think they would, but they didn't. This is oil and gas, I think. Let me take a look again. Oil and gas equipment. So this is what these are essentially. I think it's called downstream or something like that, because these are the companies that are extracting the stuff from the ground. As you guys can see, that RSI
Yeah,
once again above that middle band. So it's a bull market in in this arena. So basically, buy oil stocks and shit like that. So that's how you would use
I think
sectors.
that might have something to do with Biden talking about U.S. starting to drill for oil in
You're
Alaska
chopping up, bro.
somewhere.
You're
He's
chopping up.
finally. he- oh fucking
But
hell,
I
man!
think
I didn't do
no, I hear
anything.
you now. I hear you now.
Yeah. So I think it was Biden talking about starting to drill for new oil fields somewhere
Right.
in Alaska. I think
Yeah,
it
they
was.
actually
So,
they did an auction. You're right. They did an auction the other day. I
yeah.
forget how
So there
much
may be.
Alan posted about it earlier in the chat. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's what it
So
is.
hopefully they come to their senses because without oil we're gonna lose millions and millions of people for starvation.
Yes, sir. This is the home builders ETF right here. I don't know who's buying these homes that are getting built because, as far as I know, people only move into certain states, and to they're
Yeah.
not really benefit. Like the whole industry isn't benefiting for this chart to look like this. Basically,
That's bizarre.
very. Let's see what the real estate sec ETF looks like. A lot worse.
Oh, yeah,
This
that
makes
looks
more
worse,
sense.
way worse.
Yeah, it makes more sense. And the home builders one,
Yeah,
but
but
it
the
looks like it's getting ready
Fed
to
is
take off
buying.
too, though.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah, yeah. Fed is buying everything from the market
Oh yeah,
now.
for sure, for sure.
They're just gobbling it all up.
So check this out. Here's a hack to spotting bottom to tops. You use a Bollinger Band, right? And when price pierces it, comes back, makes another bottom. That's pretty much it. It's gonna run, and that's what you're seeing right here. Stopped, ran through it, making that second bottom right here. So
So you
the
think it's
prudent thing to
gonna?
do, yeah, no, I don't think nothing. It's gonna. The prudent thing to do would be to
Yeah,
wait for the candle to close and then get long. But it's definitely gonna. Like, this is definitely gonna be the bottom. I'd be surprised if it just reversed. Like the whole market is just looking bullish, man. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. And that, in
that's
my
stupid.
mind, yeah, in my mind, is a function of the dollar debasing becoming a thing. That's what I think, because people are gonna run to what they think is safe, and stocks
Well,
are
this
safer
is
than some fake money.
yeah, this is going to have to spill over to crypto at some point
A hundred
because
percent. Yeah.
everybody has to realize that this market is absolutely fake. There's nothing that has to do with any kind of like reasonable
I
price
mean, what does
assessment
this look
or
like?
that's just yeah. What are we looking at? Bitcoin, yeah.
Bitcoin.
That's money
There we
looking
go.
for safety.
Yeah. I mean, it's where we're at right now. It's one of those things. Can't hide from what's out there. And what's out there is not fun for money. They gotta find for they gotta find places to go. S&P oil and gas exploration and production. So these are the people that are again going into the ground and they're trying to find the oil deposits and stuff. So again, looking bullish. You see the price hitting that RSI. I mean, we'll see. We want to see it range around here some more. We don't want to presume just yet, but it's looking like it's just starting to solidify that bottom in this range right here after touching it earlier. Because this would be that resistance area. You know what I'm saying? That it would become
Mm,
support. And if it breaks that, then it would be that. And if it breaks that, then it would be that. And if it breaks that, it already did this one. Already did
yeah,
that one
yeah.
too, actually. So it's just really here.
Let's have a quick look at Hex once more. Because I noticed that Melv Tony must be on a holiday or something. He hasn't been in the chats.
Was that
So I only go on my phone and
chopping up, G?
scrolling
Chopping up.
what the price is. Yeah. No, I was just saying that since Melv Tony is on a hiatus, we need to check the price ourselves.
Ah,
Mm.
got you. All right, 13. Right.
Everybody got that? Write
Yeah,
it
so
down.
this is, I had gone through this before on a previous stream, I'm pretty sure, because I definitely have. Yeah. So, in case anybody's wondering why Hex stopped where it stopped, here's why. That moving average is 610 periods. So, here we're talking about 610 days, right? So, as Hex progresses higher, right, is going to see higher levels of moving average periods that it has to progress through, right? And just like it stopped here, stopped here, stopped here, stopped here, right? Stopped here, it's gonna have to stop here too, right? And eventually it's gonna get through this one, and then you're gonna have another one here that's gonna be 987 periods. That's gonna be even higher. I mean, that one's probably around the 23, 24, maybe 28 cent area. I don't know. I haven't thought of it or anything like that. But it's definitely going to be higher
Mm.
than 12 cents, right? But that's going to be another resistance area that X is going to have to work itself through. I mean, moving averages are a major topic for a reason in the investment world. And yeah, that's pretty much it as far as that goes. Um, so yeah, I mean, Hex is in the bull market. Don't forget it. Buy those dips. So yeah,
Yes.
jabbing up, bro.
No, I was just rooting on people to buy the dips.
Oh, of course, yes, naturally.
Yeah.
Semiconductors, another one that's looking to be in a bull market. And again, these are 8 days per candle. I mean, the entire market is just set up for a bull move in most cases. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it, knowing what's going on and all the instability. I mean, this is transportation. I mean, how could this even be up? Nobody's doing anything. Economy's
Yeah.
down. Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of crazy when you think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. China is full of empty sea containers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Full
mean,
of it.
everywhere you
Like
go, everywhere you look,
they
it's
have
it's
sea
not.
containers everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Transportation. What was that one? Telecom. Transportation. Same deal. This is the internet. We already looked at that one. So yeah, I mean, you guys see it, man. The market in general is setting up for a another move higher. It is what it is.
Are we
Emerging
gonna
markets,
melt
same
up?
deal. I don't know about that, but we're definitely moving higher. Mid cap also same deal. What is this? High grade. I think this is high grade issues right here. This oh, this is interesting. This might not be in a. This might not see a corrective move higher after all. I think this is just a corrective move higher. Sorry. So what that means is that this is just a retracement before continuing to move lower. And the reason I think that is because this does not look like a bottom. It just looks different than what we were seeing when we were looking at the SPY, for example. I mean, it might not look different to you, but trust me, it looks different. Um, where is it
Yeah.
again? There you go. Hold on. So it looks kind of sloppy, right? You got price at the RSI right here, never broke it higher, never broke above the mid band. You got the MACD up here looking like it's kind of ready to roll over. It's just not a constructive looking chart, basically, as far as the indicators go. And then price is looking kind of weak every time it gets up here. So we gotta kind of see what it's gonna do. This is just the banks again. This is junk bonds. This has not been getting a lot of love lately, but today it's up. But we'll see. This one might be able to squeeze it out. I don't know. I could be wrong here. Might squeeze it out. If junk bonds does reverse, this might get squeezed up high. What is this? This is small caps also. IWM. High yield. Let's see what this looks like. Same as the other two. So, but yeah, man. I think that's enough for today. Whole 3-hour freaking stream. Holy crap! That wasn't supposed to happen.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yep. Thank you guys for tuning in. That's pretty much all I
Hey,
got.
before we go, do you mind really if I shill our group? We have the group called Hex Guild, where we talk about permaculture, regenerative agriculture, making the actual world a better place than what it was when we found it. So if you're into that kind of stuff, if you're into growing your own food, being a self-determining, independent human in this crazy time of ours, you should join our Telegram chat, t.me/hex guild. Guild, like GUILD. Guild. We also have a stream every Wednesday about noonish Texas time, whatever time it is for you. But we stream on Wednesdays. So it would be nice to see you guys over there as well.
Boom. There you go. All right, guys.
All right. Thanks, man. It's great
Appreciate
hanging
you
out.
Goodbye. Yeah, man. Same here. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, remember to sit on your hands. That is a winning strategy.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, it is. But that's the strategy to win. Peace. Right? The reality is that I want to be rich as fuck. There's only one way to be rich as fuck. That's by sitting on your ass the longest. That's it. That's the secret. The guy well told you. Richard done told you. I done told you. Kareem done told you. Maddie done told you. Everybody done told you. Everybody done told you. These motherfuckers still acting like they don't know. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
100% safe. There's plenty of games left.
Valiant done told you. Yo, everybody said it. Man, hey, you know what it is, man? Everybody done told you. Y'all deep. Everybody.